See if that did it. All right. Audio and video, how's my volume? Is it okay? Excellent. All right. Welcome back to Paleontologizing, everybody. Sorry about the delay today. Unpredictable Wyoming weather. We had a sudden rain and windstorm just pass through. We all had to retreat to the vehicles for a while, but now we're just coming back to the site, and I'm glad you're here. Welcome to beautiful and windy southern Wyoming. Welcome to the late Cretaceous Almond Formation, and welcome to Paleontologizing. This is the only place on Twitch, or kind of frankly anywhere else on the internet, where you can watch paleontological fieldwork happen live on stream, ask questions, share in the process of paleontological discovery with all of us as we dig dinosaurs out here. I'm glad you're here. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here to show you how field paleontology really works firsthand. I want you to feel like you're really here. This is the best way that I know of for doing science outreach, and I feel immensely privileged to be able to share it with you. So welcome. Let me know if you've got any questions. That's the bread and butter of our streams here. The beauty of Twitch is the interactivity. The fact that you can type your questions or your comments or your emotes there into the chat and have us respond in real time. So welcome, welcome. It's great to have you here. And Crimson Carnotaurus says, will the rain be a threat to the fossils you're working on? It can be in certain cases, yes. Luckily, we didn't get too much rain here. It was mostly just wind. So we were chasing around a bunch of stuff that was blown around earlier. And then we went to retreat to the vehicles for a while, trying to keep dust out of people's eyes, hence, you know, the dust and wind goggles here. All that stuff. Yeah. But, yeah. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Raziel Ball, Lenina Pursue, Claire Burr, Crimson Carnotaurus, Gravity 1963, Starmy, how are you doing? And I changed out the battery pack. Yesterday, that was Cope who failed us. I guess he wasn't well charged enough, but I've got Marsh running now, and he should be fully charged. We should be good. Our battery pack that's powering the satellite dish over there is at about 90% as well. It should be charging via the solar panels, so I think we'll be good for a while today. There's a chance that those clouds might hit us, but we'll stream until we can't stream anymore. So get those questions in while you can. Glad you're here, everybody. We've got some exciting new bones and some new critters in the quarry. Fossil critters. We've got some fossil fishes that I'm excited to show you. Some gar. Do we have any fans of Lepisosteids in the chat? Any gar admirers? I think you might like today's stream. Yeah. Lexi says new bones, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go check. And who was that? iClock. Thank you so much for the subscription. Welcome to the community. Enjoy not having to watch any ads for as long as you stay subscribed. Enjoy the emotes. Enjoy the idea that you're supporting outreach here on Twitch with your patronage. Appreciate you. Good stuff. An alligator gar? Yeah, Lenina. Absolutely. Good stuff. So here's where I was digging earlier. You can see the little pile that I've been working on. And our garfish are coming out over here. This was kind of a surprise today, but those characteristic scales of Lepisosteid fish, gar, they're right there. You see one of them, you see the outline right there. There's some right here. Very nice. I would pick it up, but I'm not really working this spot right here. Josh is working this.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, welcome back,
How's it going?
And yeah, good stuff. What did you? How did it feel to find these today?
Confusing.
Confusing.
Super confusing. Because the color and texture is a lot different from the bones that I'm used to, which is the ones that I found yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, everyone, you saw that, you recognized immediately that they were scales.
That
so
textbook gar scales. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Awesome. So, and what's really cool is a bunch of these are together. They almost seem like they're articulated. So it's not uncommon at all to find gar scales kind of loose you know, just a sprinkling of them here and there throughout a quarry like this. These were really common animals at this time. But to find them together might mean that we have an articulated animal in there. So like all of the parts as they were in life. Not all the parts, but many of the parts. And that's not so common to find an articulated gar. So this is pretty special. We're pretty excited about it. This was a nice surprise today at the Ankylosaur site. Good stuff.
Everybody don't step on this thing in the paper towel. Look, everybody look. Don't step on that.
All right, we're not going to step on that, Chad.
All right, I'm going to chat thing.
Yeah, don't step on that paper towel over there, Chad. All right, here's my tools in here. Do I still have everything? Where'd my brush go? Shoot. There was kind of a scramble to get everything, keep everything from flying away in the wind earlier, and oh, there it is. I think Trinidad's got my brush.
Coming from this side, she's trying to find the extent of the accretion that the bone's in.
Let's see.
Start from the top and work down. Just sort of
Hey, how's it going, Trin?
Oh, good, just working on. Ethan wants me to get some of this stuff off. Someone was working up here earlier, so
Yeah.
originally I wasn't doing that, so he wants me to do that now. And
it's almost certain that the bone
started, he's going to check to make sure the thing I showed you earlier is bone.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm just like making sure I don't damage this potential osteoderm I showed you earlier.
Sure, yeah. Nice.
Still not 100% sure if it's bone, but it just looks,
It looked like
it
this.
reminds me very much of that osteoderm I pulled out of the ground
Yeah,
the day before yesterday.
Same color.
It's kind of hard to remember because I've been pulling a lot of bones out.
Sure. It's hard to keep track, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Can I maybe trade you brushes? That's one of my personal ones.
Oh, this one's your personal. Okay.
Yeah. It must have got put into the bin over there during
Yeah, I was in there.
the chaos of the windstorm.
Yeah.
But I can grab you another one. Let's see if
Actually, if you could get me a scoop, well, if there's none of those, that'd be good too, because that seems very good.
It is a really nice one, yeah.
Yeah, if there's
I've had this one for like 10 years.
Yeah. But if there's a scoop, that'd be good, because now Ethan wants you to get the stuff that someone was working on earlier.
I'll see if I can grab you one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There's a scoop over there. Excellent. There we go. Oop. Loose toilet paper. We can't be having that. Not in this economy. Not under these windy conditions. All right. There you go, Trin. Yeah. All right. Gotta rewrite my name on this. I think it's pretty well faded off. Used to say Anduza right there. Sharpie ink doesn't last very long around here. And yeah, Mythic Mexican says, do the bones show red because of the blood crystallized in the bone? No. What, do they have a red color? They don't. Well, there's iron in some of these here. That's where we get some of that reddish or purplish. Purple might actually be manganese. But yeah, color's not really a good indication of what's bone and what's not. Yeah, let me show you. We've got a piece over here that should be instructive, I think. I actually just found this a few minutes ago. Ethan was picking this up, and where'd it go? Was it this one? Different one. Yeah, it's over there. There we go. So, he was looking at this and he's like, Danny, do these look like vertebrae to you? And I'm like, yeah. So what you're looking at are several vertebrae in articulation right here. We've got, it's very scrunched up, but we've got the centrum right here, and on either side, here and here, we've got the transverse processes and the neural spine right there. So we've got one neural spine, two neural spines, three neural spines. There might be a fourth one in there too. But these are pretty well concreted with all of this ironstone crud. So this is going to be a challenge in the lab to get this cleaned properly. But we're glad we have it. And this was clearly sitting on the surface for a long time. Because look how much lichen has been growing on it. This is extraordinarily slow growing stuff. It does not grow quickly.
I don't think so.
So Yeah, this is on the surface for a long, long time. And then, oh, we've got my son, Fisher, here. How you doing, Fisher?
I'm good. How are you guys? Good to see you again.
Yeah. Everybody say hi to Fisher in the chat. Did you hear from Turtle Hill today?
Emergency evacuation. So,
Yeah.
we heard thunder up on the ridge.
Oh, you heard thunder over there?
Yeah.
Ooh,
so
shoot.
Ava and I decided that it would be prudent to get
Oh,
out
nice.
as fast as we could.
Oh, were you working at Turtle Hill today, Ava?
He saved my life. Yes, I was at Turtle Hill with Fisher.
Very nice. Yeah.
Very fun.
What'd you think?
It's cool. I've never been more scared to break the tiniest little bone.
That's what that site is like, absolutely.
Yeah, there are so many.
It's amazing, right?
It's fantastic.
You're surprisingly clean for just having come from Turtle Hill as
Yeah,
well.
we didn't get a ton done today.
Yeah, okay,
No.
that makes sense. Often it's like coal dust just coating every surface of skin. But yeah, nice. Yeah, well, welcome to the Ankylosaur site, both
Thanks,
of you.
Danny.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
That was my first day here yesterday. Is this your first day at the site?
Yeah, it's my first time being here
Nice.
at all.
Nice, very cool.
Getting my bearings.
Yeah, normally
I have
Fisher
some
is.
examples here to look at.
I know, good stuff. Although these are kind of weird ones,
I know.
but
Those are pretty weathered.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many times we walked past this before Ethan realized, like, oh, those are vertebrae in there. Yeah. So anyway, Fisher is normally running the Turtle Hill site, which we streamed from several times last year, finding, as the name would imply, turtles, also all kinds of bony fishes, including our beloved Melvin.
Big Melvin.
Big Melvin, yeah, Melvius fish, bowfin fish. Melvius is the genus name. And then fragments of lizards. Bennett found a mammal tooth there, the first mammal fossil from the Almond Formation. It's a multi-tuberculate tooth. That was really exciting. We've got that back in camp now, right?
No, it's still at Turtle Hill.
It's still at Turtle Hill.
Yeah, every
Okay.
specimen from Turtle Hill is still there.
Gotcha.
Under
Okay.
lock and key, so.
Nice, yeah. Under armed guard. Yeah, we've got razor wire, barking dogs, ATST walker, standing guard next to it, all that stuff. So no fossil poachers get any funny
Got our
ideas.
check hedgehog set up.
Yeah, they're the anti-tank. You're talking about the tank ones or the mines, hedgehog mines?
The anti-tank.
Oh, right. Yeah.
In
The
case,
big.
Ankylosaur mounted poachers come along. They're not
There
gonna
we
make
go.
it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm thinking of the hedgehog. That was an anti-submarine thing. The hedgehog depth charges.
Yeah, the water mines.
Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. Sweet Potato Source says Bennett the goat. We have a Bennett fan in the chat.
He's
Nice.
the goat, but he's out sick today. He's got pink eye. So,
I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah,
Shoot, I was wondering why he wasn't with you.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Darn, pink eye, that's lousy. Yeah, the conditions are tough out here. And, with so much dust flying around, people are rubbing their eyes. Yeah. Anyhow.
We're all wishing for a quick recovery.
And, we also had a Trinidad fan in the chat, too. Where are you at? Let me see ya. Oh, Nebraska Farmer, thank you for the gift subs. I really appreciate that. Excellent. Yeah. Xandros46. All right. Let's, you still here, Xandros? Let's go say hi to Trin with you. Let me know that you're here in the chat. Hopefully you haven't gone away. Sorry I missed you at first. Let's see here. All right, I'm here. Excellent. Hey, Trin, you got a fan in the chat here. Xandros says your buddy Alex? I think? Yeah, awesome.
I've known him since middle school.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trin's living the life out here.
Little thing chipped out here. That's perfect for you to come by so I could show you that.
bone, but good eyes. Yeah. So yeah.
Because either way, that's still the rock that it's embedded in.
Exactly.
So.
That is the sort of stuff that's concreted onto some of the bone here.
Yeah. So it's still telling me I could still be hitting bone very soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's
Nice.
like, yeah, was Alex here when you showed it? When you showed the?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Awesome. Yeah. Anyway, very cool. Yeah. So, buddy, Trinidad is from the Bay Area, just like me, and also working with the Children's Natural History Museum of Fremont.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Trinidad is from Ohlone College or from Cal State East Bay.
So I'm from Cal State State. That's where I got my bachelor's.
Okay.
And then after I got my bachelor's and decided I wanted to go into paleontology, went to Ohlone, got the geology background there, and that's how I ended up helping curate their museum.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, a fellow Bay Area resident here, fellow Californian. I think we are far outnumbered by the Pennsylvanians, however.
We have a way of doing that. One of the few limited ways in which Pennsylvanians outnumber California.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see we've got Lauren with us again today.
Hi.
And ankylosaurs are Lauren's very favorite kind of dinosaurs. So she had to be at the site today, and it's been great having her around. Anything you got over here yet? Oh, is that a phalanx or a vertebra? Let's see here.
Go in for a closer look.
Is it okay if I stand right over here?
Of course.
It might continue into a concretion that's covering a bone.
Yeah, it's got that kind of spool shape like that.
Is this bone?
And then this is a piece of something that.
Yeah. That looks vertebral to me, the
This
one
is
you've
a
got
weird
on the
size.
left.
Keep asking
Oh,
if you're
cool.
not sure, 'cause I
But
don't know.
that's just a first guess. The whole thing isn't exposed yet.
And there look to be a smattering of potential shards. This one has some potential.
Oh yeah, that's got bone texture right there.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Very cool. Yeah, and there's a bunch of stuff up here too. Okay.
Yep.
We already know about that? Excellent. Yeah, fantastic.
We're coming at it this way, and maybe there will be more of this
Right.
somewhere. So yeah.
Cool.
And as the least experienced member of the field team, I am being very cautious.
Looks like you're doing a really good job so far. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And how awesome is it to be working on not just an ankylosaur, but in all likelihood a brand new species?
That's crazy. Crazy.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good stuff. I think I saw. Oh, a Nebraska farmer says, happy to support you as a mere neontologist. Well, it takes all kinds. I really appreciate your support, Nebraska farmer. I really, really do. Thank you. I hope you're doing well, and I appreciate not just your viewership, but your patronage. It means a lot. All right, here comes Big E. Got some precious cargo there in the back.
Hey, just get rid of this.
That's fine. I can move it.
Yeah, let's get stuff out of the road.
Nice.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. Ethan actually got here just in time as the storm was blowing in, so we had just enough spots in all the vehicles for everybody to pile inside and get out of the wind, and mostly the wind. There was only a tiny bit of rain. But Paleo Ken, how are you doing, Ken? What's shaking? Good to have you here. Ken, are you going to be with us tomorrow, I hope? Or no? Today's Friday. It's Fossil Friday today. Are you going to be joining us again tomorrow, Ken? We'd love to have you back, as always. And tomorrow afternoon. Yes! All right, excellent. Glad to hear it, Ken. Glad to hear it. Summer says that looks like rain in the distance. That is rain. It's raining over there, for sure. That may or may not get us. It might drift that way and miss us. It might continue coming this way and deplete itself before it arrives. We shall see. That's the beauty and terror of a live broadcast. Anything can happen. That's why we're watching, huh? Why you're watching. I'm not watching. But good stuff. Good stuff. I'm gonna grab some water because I've not done that in like the past hour. So let's make that happen. But I heard good news from the Purple Puzzle site today. Oh, first, hey Luke, how those new kicks working out?
I would highly endorse Walmart brand knockoff Crocs.
What are they called?
These are rugged sharks, and I think they are the optimal shoe
For field work?
for field work.
Excellent, yeah. Well, why do you think that? Just experience?
Yeah, personal experience. I'm using them for a while now.
Yeah?
You got to replace them a little more frequently than other shoes, but I think it's okay.
They suit you well.
Exactly.
Nice and comfortable. Good stuff. Oh, fake Crocs, or are they pseudo-Sukians? Oh man, Charlie's Dragon. That wasn't too bad. Yeah. What's funny is that pseudosoukians are true Crocs, aren't they? Isn't that how that works? Crocodilomorphs are pseudosoukians. Is that? Doug would know, right? No?
I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Somebody back me up. Where's Alexander Morrison when we need him? Oh, can we butt in for a second, Ethan, and take a look at your gluing?
Just having a nice little drink.
Yeah, very nice.
Just like a turtle guard nightmare situation.
Who doesn't like a nice turtle guard nightmare? Man, so much going on at this site. Yeah. And is that even more? Nebraska Farmer, holy cow, thank you for the further gift subs. Really appreciate that. That, helps, helps me be out here. I would not be able to do this were it not for the generous support of this community. This is literally how I make my living. This is what I do full time. This is how I pay the bills. So thank you for helping me out with that. It means a lot. And now there's 5 more people who won't have to watch any more ads for the next month. We'll be done with fieldwork here in Wyoming by the time any of them have to see an ad. Appreciate that, Nebraska Farmer. Thank you for your generosity. And there you go, Jody Fish. Yeah, that makes sense. And there is Alexander Morrison. Yeah. Distracted. Beasted Skull. Oh, very cool, Alexander Morrison. Very nice. Yeah. Good stuff. I think I can share this. I just got a text from Lordy and Ios. They're on a little road trip right now. Check them out. Shout out to Lordy and Ios. Excellent. Here, let me reply. There we go. All right, I came over here to get some water. Let's make that happen. Ugh. Where'd my chat go? Streaming. Dank chat. There we go. Excellent. Beautiful. All right.
So this is what is probably right
Nice. Wow, Edie, you're looking majestic right now. Look at you. Yeah. You having a pretty good day? Lots of excitement? You guarding the burlap? That's important stuff. And make sure nobody takes it, huh? Yeah. Nice. So, there are preparations being made for some more jacketing here. They're going to put some side strips around this big jacket, looks like.
We're going to put another layer on it.
Another layer? Nice. It's a big jacket. You're going to have to do, multiple layers. Nice hard shell. Make sure the thing doesn't flex. Yeah, so in there, good shot that there's a femur in there, some sort of big limb bone. And some other stuff.
help us plaster.
Okay. Nice. Alright.
It's done now. I mean, yeah, at least I got it. Like,
And
I was just watching my account and I was like, maybe I should go.
glue is cheap. Yes, indeed, Alexander Morrison. Yeah. And
Dude, it's fine. I just like, I don't.
SSK Vary says, is there some properties that made dinosaur flesh of large animals lighter, like bones? I don't know exactly know what you're asking. Do you mind rephrasing the question? In the meantime, I can tell you that at least with Saurischian dinosaurs, your theropods and sauropods, their bodies would have been much less dense than those of, say, a similar-sized mammal, because they had air sacs and hollows in their bones, especially their axial skeleton, their vertebrae, their skulls. Oh yeah, just like birds. You know how birds have hollow bones, this really cool respiratory system that allows them to be extraordinarily lightweight? They got that from their dinosaur ancestors. That is a dinosaurian hand-me-down from the Mesozoic. Birds evolved from dinosaurs, and that's where they got most of their unique bird features. They're not unique. They came from dinosaurs in the first place. So, yeah. And this is the same site as yesterday. Yes, indeed, Ash Odinson. Yeah. Yeah. And you have to... Did you have to evacuate the hadrosaur site, too? I think they probably did. It looked like they may have got hit a lot harder than we did by the rain. It's drift over their area, and it's hard to tell exactly where the clouds are over here. You know, this is a wide landscape. There's... I don't know. You can see pretty far. It's, you know, it's big country. But I'm guessing we'll hear some stories tonight that they had some serious weather there. But they've also had some serious finds today. Apparently that big bone that Nick found the other day is turning into a turtle, like a big one. So that's pretty exciting. And they've got more hadrosaur bones coming out all over the place. So I'm excited to hear about it when we get back to camp. Yeah. And... Whoop, hang on. Chat's moving too fast. I'm trying to look at that question. If dinosaurs had weight saving in their skin. No, probably not in their skin. In fact, with these dinosaurs, these ankylosaurs, like the one we're digging up here, they would have been pretty bulky, pretty heavy. Yeah, Trent? Got a bone fragment? Okay.
Came out of the ground right here.
Not sure this is,
Yeah, there's some part in the middle that looks like it almost has some kind of vascular.
Yeah.
Chipped right out of here.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It does look kind of bony, yeah. Yeah, be careful around that area.
Yeah.
But it looks like that's what you're doing. Good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice. This stuff is here. Excellent.
Do you have like a specific, this one first, then that one, or you just cut them up?
Yeah. Man, Ash Odinson, we didn't really get much rain. It was more of a drizzle than a downpour. It was just the wind that was really nuts. I'm guessing we had probably 60, 70 mile an hour gusts, something like that. So we had to cover up the whole site and keep our little specimen bags from blowing away. All of the other stuff that we have out through the quarry, we had to pack that up so it didn't fly over the horizon. And then there's just, wind-borne dust and sand and grit just flying through the air. People had to protect their eyes. It's just how it goes. Look at that giant sheet of burlap. That's how it's done.
Now let's just go the long axis. Keep it from touching the wall.
Ooh.
Go as low as you can.
Ooh, Quinn.
Piece.
Gonna borrow the hand lens? It looks, that texture is real bony.
I know, that's what I thought, but...
Alright, job. Doug, your job is to get this stick to pedestal, and I'll handle the rest.
Huh.
Ethan.
What up?
Oh, wait, you're busy. Never mind.
What up?
All right, incoming.
What? Let me. Let's have Quinn take a look.
Sweet.
It's getting longer.
So ready.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, let's start on this end. Let's go pretty low. All right, now send it. Send it. Ooh, this is some graceful technique. Okay, bottom first. Doug, before you tighten that, we gotta get the bottom in, and then we can tighten it from there.
Got some burlap trying to escape.
Now we can tighten this. Pushing out from it. Here we go. Excellent.
Are we gonna need another one?
We're gonna do these small pieces that are kind of over by Edie.
Let me know if you need another hand. I have literally
You
one.
wanna go grab the pile that's right next to Edie?
Oh,
The thin strips there, Lauren. Yep. And that should be pretty much good, right?
Nice.
Okay.
And Charlie's Dragon, as usual, is correct with his assessment there.
Just for this leftover stuff.
Cover as much as you can with tarps, I think. Bingo. Yeah.
Hand together a couple small guys.
Okay, let's just get this a little more tight.
should I start another one?
Yes, please.
Alright, give me 10 seconds, Luke, and then I'm so taking that. Sweet, we're good.
Beautiful. Probably be the last one.
Hey Doug, do you see not any area over here with no fresh plaster underneath, like in the lip? Like
Getting in the corners.
okay, what about
I always love watching jacketing. It's weird to watch it, like it's almost a new experience for me to watch jacketing take place without helping.
No, please.
Usually I'm in there, you know, getting the white stuff all over me. Yeah.
Can we get one more little one? Let's go now. Okay. No, there's no plaster.
Vintage Watercolor says just the cameraman today. I mean, for the time being, they tell me to jump in and I will. But we've got a big crew here. This is nice. So I'm not necessarily first in line to jump into the plaster.
Yeah, just to get the vibe.
I've got permanent Mickey Mouse.
Don't touch your hair.
And then like you put a lot of zinc sunscreen.
Dougie, get in here.
We're just playing Twisters.
Yeah.
Right hand jacket. Left hand jacket.
You want to get in here and do some rub-a-dub? I'll get out of here so you can. So you just like you want to keep your hands constantly moving. It's like cursive.
Yeah.
You don't want to take your hands off the page because it'll create little ridges.
Oh,
So our goal is to smooth it out.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't like have all these sharp edges on it. And the more you keep your fingers together like mittens too. And then every time you take your fingers off, it kind of creates ridges. That is naughty. Very bad. But occasionally you gotta do it. And once it gets a little more dry, that's when we'll put the finishing touches on it. Make it real smooth.
Try to imagine what viewers just tuning in right now with no context are thinking.
This is a big
Think all
worm.
these people rubbing down this big white thing in the ground.
What kind of an egg is that?
It's an alligator head.
What is going on? This is a great party.
Egg massage stream.
Somebody has that stream going, surely.
Melvin, where you
Somewhere
at?
on Twitch, someone's massaging an egg.
Melvin! Stringies.
I'll do some.
Oh yeah.
And
This is part of our coordinate system for being able to map everything out. You'll see over here, chat, we've got some rebar here in the ground, spaced out 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, 4, right here. And from these bits of rebar, we create our grid across the quarry so that we can map everything out. We just got to be really careful not to skewer ourselves upon the rebar. Yeah, shoot, don't even joke about that, Ava.
It would have been pretty bad if I lost my balance while making the joke. That'd be pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, how you doing, AJ?
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice bandana today.
Hey,
Where'd you get
thanks.
that?
Actually, this nice girl, Lauren, gave me the option of this or a white one.
Uh-huh.
This went with my shirt.
Nice.
Making a fashion statement.
That's the white. It's a friendship bandana
Yeah.
situation.
It's a bond.
I like it. I like
It's a
it.
bond, yeah. But yeah, feeling a lot better today.
Nice.
Yesterday, I think I was just being a baby. You know, overburden's fun, tearing apart walls is fun, but finding fossils is why I'm here.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So I should
Yeah.
probably. Yeah. It's going well today. I'm hoping we find something. The wind literally took our motivation earlier. It was just out of nowhere. It was really hard to kind of bounce back from that, but we're back.
Really?
Yeah.
You get used to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Freaking Wyoming.
Yep. It's people don't come here for the nice weather, you know. It's like, I'm gonna take a nice vacation to Wyoming, you know. We're
this kind of year.
just, yeah. Oh boy. And do I have a new scratch on the lens?
I'll get
Oh well. Let me get my my lens wipes, and we'll see if we can if that'll help at all with this. But you know, we're out here. There's rocks and dust everywhere. Like it's kind of inevitable that the lens gets scratched. I might have to just get a new camera, which these things aren't cheap, but that's the price you gotta pay. All right, hold still, chat. I'm gonna clean you up a little bit. So here. There we go. How's that? We any better? Or is that worse? Let me know. These cameras aren't produced anymore, so you can only get them used on eBay, and this one may have actually been scratched when I got it. Yeah. Anywho. All good. Oh, and we got Jim in the chat. Hey, how you doing? Everybody, that is Utah State paleontologist Jim Kirkland in the chat.
Jim Cam.
I think that's
Ooh, we got some bone there, Fisher?
Looks like it.
Nice.
Looks like it's in situ too.
Yeah. Good stuff. Shoot, I was digging over there all morning. Not a hint of bone.
It's just the nature of things.
Yep.
3 years at Turtle Hill, no mammals, and then my assistant finds one.
Yeah, Bennett's first day, right?
I think it was our first day in the lower layer.
Oh, okay.
But
Nice.
yeah, pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's just how this field is sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a team effort. You know, you can't be too prideful about individual finds, right? So.
And that is an interesting idea, actually. Somebody says windshield repair epoxy. Ash Odinson. I don't know if I have epoxy, but I do have window headlight polish. I've got some in camp. I wonder if it would work on that. Might be worth a shot. I think I might also have a spare camera buried in my car somewhere under the rear cargo hatch. I betcha I do. So maybe we'll see if we can bust that out at some point. You know, it's tricky because I'm out here doing work during the day, helping with camp, you know, directing people, you know, barking orders, that kind of thing. And then I got to stream also in the afternoons. It's a lot of different jobs to do. So yeah. As long as the polish isn't abrasive, says Charlie's Dragon, we'll have to see. Sure. Yeah. Anywho. Those are made of plastic, says Claire Burr. Well, the headlights are also made of plastic. I don't think this lens is glass. I think it is plastic. But I'm not totally sure. Somebody could look it up if they want to. It's an old Sony Action Cam, the black one. Yeah. Anywho, I would appreciate it if everybody would just stop complaining about the scratch, because there's honestly nothing I can do about it, and it's just a big distraction for me and a morale killer, so if you could refrain, I'd appreciate it. But I realize there's new people.
Scratch?
What's that?
Can you fix that scratch already?
Fisher! No.
I can't do it.
Yeah. Anywho. And Fedot, great question here. Let me grab my my visuals here and I'll show you rather than just tell you. We're here in the late Cretaceous almond formation. The almond is very understudied. There are, can anybody guess how many different dinosaurs have been described from the almond? How many different dinosaurs have been named? It's not a lot. Here. Shoot, I'm just realizing my stuff is over in the car. Here, give me a second. Let me set the camera down and let me go get that out of the car. I'll be right back. But here, you sit tight, chat. We're going tripod mode here. So I put this camera there and try not to drop it and scratch the lens further. Go.
Yeah, I saw a couple people work.
Okay. You wait here. I'll be right back. Let me adjust you. Well, you're fine.
People call me Rex. You give yourself a nickname. You know what would be a cool nickname for me?
I think I'm gonna go
All right. There we go. Sorry about that. During the shuffle earlier when we had that storm, I had to pack everything into the car and I didn't quite grab everything coming out. So we are working here in southern Wyoming in the late Cretaceous almond formation. Rock's about 73 million years old, give or take. So at this time, this landscape looked nothing like this. It was completely different. Back then, this was coastline. So we were on the shore of an ancient lake here. Oh, ancient lake, excuse me. Not a lake, forget that. Let's go back. Right now we're about 6,000 or 7,000 feet in the air. Really high elevation. Air is pretty thin up here, actually. At least compared to what I'm used to at sea level back home in California. This was not 6,000 feet elevation during the late Cretaceous. This was sea level back then. Back then, North America looked like this. There was the Western Interior Seaway that cut North America in two. It separated the West from the East. So Appalachia, which is now the U.S. East Coast, much of the Midwest. This is the eastern subcontinent. Laramidia is the west. This red box that I put right here, that red outline, is Wyoming. We're in this part of Wyoming here, down the south. This would have been the ancient coastline. So imagine this landscape completely flattened out, and imagine waves not too far over there. This would have been kind of a low coast, nice and warm. There would have been, crocs swimming around, big predatory freshwater fishes. There would have been palm trees and ginkgos and kind of primitive angiosperms, flowering plants, broad-leaved trees. It would have been an environment kind of like modern-day Louisiana, if you can picture that. And then on the land were there all kinds of dinosaurs walking around. Dinosaurs like one of the ones we have at this site. An ankylosaur. So I've got a skeletal diagram of a nodosaurid right here. Yeah, which is an armored dinosaur. And this is what we're digging up here. We've got a bunch of the armor scutes of this animal, and we might even find some more today that we can show you. Stay tuned. But in fact, it seems we might have multiple individuals because we've got some big limb bones here, what we think might be femurs, and they seem to be different sizes. And if you have two different sized femurs, that means you have at least two different individual animals. So we could be dealing with what we call a bone bed here, which would be pretty exciting. Yeah. And yeah. Does humidity affect your digs at all? Humidity is negligible here. It's very dry up here in the Rocky Mountain West. Somebody can pull up the weather command, but it's going to be, oh man, probably less than 20% humidity. Actually, it might be a little bit higher because we did just get a little bit of rain a while ago. But yeah, it's very dry out here. 23%. Oh wow, positively humid today. And CTMW says, man, they couldn't do that kind of work where I'm here in Texas. They would all get a heat stroke in 5 minutes. Well, I'm going to be out in Utah later this year, and it gets hot as Hades out there in July and August. I think our record temperature while we were digging was like 127. That's Fahrenheit, not Celsius. But yeah, we dig out in the heat out there. It's part of the job, you know? You do what you got to do. I think that was the hottest I had ever seen, and I want to say that was in 2022, maybe 2023. But yeah, it gets really hot out there. Sometimes, you know, if it gets extraordinarily hot, we might just, you know, call it for the day and go back to camp for a little while. But usually we're out digging, you know. Yeah. Good stuff. Let's see here. How goes the dig? It goes well, Helvetica scenario. Let me go walk you around some more. I'll clip this to my belt. And, yeah. Go make the rounds. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah. And what sort of camp do you have? Is it tents and MREs, or is it a motel in nearby town? Fadot, we're staying in a camp a few miles from here. Yeah, we've got a big supply tent there with all of our food and everything. We've got some coolers with some ice. We just got more ice last night when we went to town. We had Mexican food for dinner, which was really nice. But most nights we up and we cook dinner. And then we've got a whole bunch of personal tents there that people have brought with them. Everything from, you know, little simple nylon dome tents to kind of teepee style canvas tents to my great big spring bar tent made right here in the USA. I love that tent. It is fantastic. And that is the same kind that Jim Kirkland uses. That's actually where I got the recommendation. My first year out in the field in Utah, I had a little, you know, U.S. Army or U.S. Marines surplus dome tent, which was nice, but not nearly big enough. And frankly, not nearly of field work. So big serious canvas spring, that's what what Jim uses and what Uncle Don uses, and yeah, I swear by it. That thing is great. Some of the best money I've ever spent. Yeah. And what did I eat at the restaurant? I had a nice veggie burrito with what was it? Lettuce, habanero salsa, and guacamole. Yeah, it was good. Pinto beans too. Good stuff. Yeah. And and somebody was asking about my boots. These are they're called hunting boots, but these are Daner pronghorns. Shoot, I actually need to get in contact with that company, and a sponsorship deal would be possible, because man, these are the best boots I've ever had. I've used them since 2015, I think. I don't ever want to buy another kind of boot, as long as this company maintains this kind of quality. It's good stuff. I like them a lot. These are the Daner pronghorns, 8-inch hunting boots. Excellent. They're really sturdy. They're really comfortable. They're surprisingly breathable for, boots like this, and they can withstand a rattlesnake bite. I've figured that out firsthand. Yeah. Good stuff. April Levy says, how was this dig site discovered? So we talked about that a little bit yesterday. Our expedition lead here, Ethan Cowgill, he brought his brothers out here a few years back. And, Ethan's brother Josh discovered this site. The official site name of the site is Josh's Knoll, JK for short. But yeah, he was just out here prospecting and found some bone kind of spilling out here next to the road, and then followed it in, and sure enough, there's bones in situ. They're going into the hill. So, yeah. And that was, I think, 2021 that was found. We could ask Ethan. Yeah. And good stuff. And upstairs down says, are the funky hats mandatory on... What do you mean funky hats? This is an extraordinarily practical hat. I've had this thing for... I think I got this hat in 2006. So, how long ago was that? I've been using it every summer in the field. And for a lot of other stuff, too. Rain or shine, snow, sleet, and hail. This hat is phenomenal. It's not great for the hottest weather because it is leather, but I'll use a sun helmet, kind of like Fisher has over there. Yes, there's Fisher with his Postal Service sun helmet, one like that I use for really hot weather. Fisher uses his all the time. So that's official U.S. Postal Service issue, by the way, that he's got. Yeah, but. Yeah, it is important to have some sort of head covering here. So you'll see just about everybody in the chat has got something on their noggin, whether it's a bandana or a baseball cap or a headscarf or a bucket hat, baseball cap, or Fisher's official USPS sun helmet here.
Yeah, I'm ready for anything.
He is ready for anything.
Rain or shine, I'll get those packages delivered on time. Paleo postage,
U.S. Paleontology Service?
Yeah. You know it.
Good stuff. So I've got one like that, but it's military issue that I'll be using in Utah, where it'll be a lot hotter later in the summer. So, yeah.
That's not as cool as it gets.
Yeah. And, good stuff. Anywho, and that is a fine-looking jacket there. It's just radiant. Look at that.
Oh.
Beautiful. It's not going to look like that for long. It's going to get dust all over it. But, yeah.
We're going to sign it like a cast.
Yeah. Millpool.
Stay cool.
But we actually got, here, I remember to look, where do we have it? In case we have to leave that jacket overnight, ever have to like leave it uncovered for whatever reason, we got, so it won't be, you know, it won't look like Mothra's egg. Although Mothra's egg is blue and yellow, huh? With like stripe.
I don't know, because I don't.
Right, Spencer?
I don't like Mothra very much.
I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. But, yeah. Yeah, if Nick were here, he'd be all over that. But, yeah, anyway. How are you guys doing over here? Katie, I don't know if I've had you on stream yet this year, have I?
I don't think so. Well, when I first showed up.
Oh, that's right,
I think
yeah.
yours-
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Returning for season 2.
Yeah. Recurring characters. You gotta love it. Yeah. Any bone over here yet?
Got some fragments.
Yeah, mostly just fragments.
Nice, okay. Better than nothing. I was working up there earlier and just nothing all morning.
Yeah.
So it goes.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. What's the shirt today there, Spencer?
The Cub Scout thing.
Cub Scout
2008.
thing. Very nice.
Yeah.
Magnus Adventures.
Yep.
Very cool.
All I remember was going to the top of the tower and like throwing this like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle guy who had like a parachute.
Uh-huh.
That's all I remember.
Cool.
And throwing up.
That sounds like a good use of a summer, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
We should do that when we get back to camp. Let's
Throw
throw
up?
some. We'll throw some Army men parachute things off the ridge, and then we'll throw up. Sounds like a good time. Yeah. Yeah, be a good story afterward. Yeah.
Throw bones.
Anywho, we should like take masking tape and like cover up these logos until these companies actually sponsor
Product
us. You know?
placement.
Yeah. It's like you want appearance on camera, you gotta pay up. You know. Yeah. Good stuff. Alexander Morrison says a newish radiodont was named after Mothra. We were talking about that just the other day. Yeah, good stuff. In fact, that might have been after I had left California to come here, so I hadn't actually had a chance to read the paper yet. But yeah, we'll do a paleo catch-up stream. I think the second week of July, or maybe even the first week of July. I'm gonna go to Michigan after I'm here in Wyoming, and then I'll be going back home to San Francisco Bay Area for about a week, and then flying straight out to Utah and driving out to our sites near Moab that day, July 15th. That's gonna be it's gonna be a long day. I'm gonna sleep well that night. Yeah. And Octavius King, thanks for the raid. How are you doing? Welcome, Octavius King and Raiders. How are things? How is your stream? How are all of those beady-eyed little fuzzy mischievous mammals? And for that matter, how are the rats doing? Not to mention, that was the joke, because I was talking about chat at first. Anyway, welcome back to the field. Welcome back to our Ankylosaur site. We're digging up a brand new species of armored dinosaur here in southern. And I'm glad you're here. Let me know if you've got any questions. Excellent. They've come to you from Octi's raid, but we also have two of my rats here having a meetup. Very nice, Deepest Blue Dragon. That's awesome. Well, I hope the rats all got along. Good stuff. Very, very cool. Beautiful. Yeah. Mooncloud says beady-eyed mischievous mammals is being added to my lexicon for my kids. I usually call them chaos goblins. Yeah, I like that. That one's free. Feel free to have All right. Ooh, here comes the heavy artillery. Time to break that pedestal. Nice. Oh, and we got sharpened rebar too? Yep. Nice. Did it come like that, or did we have to?
I think it came like that. It's painted, so it came like that.
Yeah, very nice. Oh, well. So, got a fossil jacket here with a big Ankylosaur limb bone. I have to flip this thing over.
How's that for the mic?
Yeah, there's some ASMR there. do you think, chat?
Yeah. We're gonna want to go this way, though, right?
Yeah.
So we got our fish. The plan. Got our fish over here.
Well, even before the fish, that was originally the plan.
Would you want to get that nail hammered down so we could get rid of that little island? Nice tempo there.
There's this great guy on Instagram who's like losing his mind.
I love that guy. He's already pretty. I love that guy.
All of the museums I've gone to, they don't. It's a triceratops.
Yeah, that's how that wasn't what I was gonna say.
What was that? Yeah, what you said.
All right. Awesome. We'll come back to that, and hopefully we can catch the flip. But, Edie, how are you doing? What do you think?
Having a good day?
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
She loves me. Whoa. Wow. Yeah. There's a rock. Whoa. That one could be bone. Let's put that back. There, that's definitely just a rock. Yeah. Good stuff. Here's another one. Ready? Whoa. Look. Oh, wow. Oh, ready? Shoo. Good jump. There, here's another one. Whew. Yeah. Here, one more. There we go. Yeah, there you go. Is that fun? I can't do that all day. I'd like to, but I gotta do some other stuff too. Yeah. Nice. Stuff. If anybody's got any questions, something about dinosaur paleontology, about the history of life on Earth, about extinction and evolution, or maybe the very philosophy of science itself, don't be shy, you know? How you doing over here, Peter?
Oh, it's a mess and a puzzle.
Nice little jacket we got from earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute.
So we were doing stuff with the femur yesterday.
So yeah, our big thigh bone is under this tarp.
Under the tarp. And we were trenching around it, and we found some. That's where we found our first idea bulgar.
Nice.
Down in that trench, and when we were expanding out, we just kept finding more and more on top of it. And so the plan was to like clear this out. You see all these cut roots and stuff.
Yeah.
And found some more of the ankylosaur right here.
Nice.
Jacketed, and there's just scales all over here.
It's guard town here. This is awesome.
Got a good one. That's
very cool.
Let's see.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so this is one of the scales.
Beautiful. Yeah,
right
look
there
at that.
From the
you can
car.
see that shiny surface right there?
Yep.
A little bit cracked, so you can tell it's been weathered.
Yeah,
but
it's just gorgeous.
Yeah,
the
it's
texture
really
is super glassy.
Yeah.
It's like obsidian looking.
So people actually make like jewelry out of modern gar scales.
Yeah.
And I've seen it from fossil gar scales too. And I think some of the native people of North America actually would make arrowheads out of gar scales.
They got that big?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, they get really big. They get like this.
Whoa.
Like super big gar.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
That's awesome.
Huh. Yeah.
So yeah, nice work.
Yeah, it's a mess and they're all scattered all over. So. Yep.
Good
all
stuff.
through here.
Yeah. This site's gonna keep us busy for a while. So I'm glad we've got a lot of people working it right now. You can see we've got more fragments of bone down here. I showed you this earlier. I've got our multiple vertebrae in here. They're a little bit difficult to see. We've got our transverse processes on the vertebra right there, vertebral centrum right here, the neural spines up top there. So you're looking at them head on like this, all concreted with this ironstone crud and lichen and stuff all over them, but they're there. And I've got some more bony stuff here. There's some nice bone texture right there. So yeah, the stuff on the surface can be a little bit difficult to identify, but you look closely and like that is definitely bone. So, and this stuff continues down the hill over there and also a little bit across the road here. So we've got a pretty big site. And we don't know how many individual ankylosaurs are represented here, but it seems to be probably more than one, which is, again, exciting. We got our work cut out for us. Yeah. Enricola says windy today? Oh yeah. So the reason I was a little bit late starting today's stream was because we had a big windstorm come through. We had to stop work for a while, batten down the hatches, and just wait things out in the vehicle for about, I don't know, half an hour or something like that. Yeah. Just as I was about to get ready for stream, we had those storm clouds roll in, a little bit of rain and a lot of wind. So, well, that's how it often goes, you know? Yeah. Upstairs Down says, how common are ankylosaur remains in the U.S.? They're certainly not the rarest kind of dinosaur, but they're not the most common either. Personally, I have worked at 2 different ankylosaur sites, including this one. In 2017, I was up in Rudyard, Montana, digging up a new species of nodosaur, one that's about 6 million years older than this guy. Potentially part of the same lineage, you know? Could be an ancestor-descendant relationship type of deal. Who knows? You know, it's difficult to say. But, yeah. So I don't know, that might give you some idea. Like, ankylosaurs are not extraordinarily rare, but they're not the most common dinosaur, certainly not in the almond formation. Here, the most common kind of dinosaur seems to be our duckbills. We found a lot of them so far. Most of the, if not the majority, at least the plurality of our sites this summer are hadrosaurs, duckbill dinosaurs, like this guy here. And in life, they would look like this. Yeah, big plant-eating, beaky, ornithischian dinosaurs, like that. Yeah. So these guys are really common. We've also got a ceratopsian that we're digging up too. In fact, most of our crew members here today are we have borrowed from the ceratopsian site because that was it was really taking a toll on the crew. There's a ton of overburden at that site. It's very difficult to work, and they were being really good sports about the whole thing. But man, sometimes you got to take a break from hard labor. That dinosaur would be something like this. This is Pentaceratops here. Our dinosaur is probably new. Our horned dinosaur, maybe something like this. It's hard to say. Or maybe I don't want to say, you know. I'm not saying. Anyway, and that would look something like this in life. I think this is actually Anchiceratops here. But our guy is similar, maybe, to both of those in some interesting ways. Probably new. So anyway, we've got a plethora of different dinosaurs here. And we're pretty lucky. We are pretty lucky. Anywho. And Mantis 24-8TH says, how can you tell it's the almond formation? It's been mapped out that way. And then everything about it also is consistent with what's been published on the almond formation. So it's kind of the almond formation by default. Like, these rocks have been named the almond formation that we're digging in, and that's where we're digging. So it's the almond formation, you know. It'd be like, you know, going to San Francisco and being like, how do you know you're in San Francisco? It's like, well, it says San Francisco on the map, you know. Same deal. Is there a mounds formation too? Very funny, Pimp Cat. Yeah. Yeah. And Mizart rules. Can all fossils contain ostracods? No. So ostracods are marine organisms. You're not going to have them in, like, you know, Aeolian sandstones or something like that. So yeah. Yeah. Pretty sure ostracods are... I know there's probably freshwater ostracods too, huh? So anyway, in terrestrial sediments that are not waterborne, you know, things like Aeolian environments, wind-borne sand, you're not going to have ostracods in there. Yeah. Anywho, yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, seed shrimp. There you go, Mizart rules. Yeah, yeah.
We get the pick.
Ooh, see the jacket move.
Yeah?
It's going.
Okay.
At least a little bit.
Which eye, Buggy? There we go. Look.
Oh, you're ready.
All right.
I guess I'll just use that.
All right, everybody, you're gonna see one of these important. This is the flip of a plaster jacket.
Okay, you all need to get right there. I need to pull, right? Go, go!
Nice.
Very good.
Well done.
Well done, mates.
Beautiful.
That was looked surprisingly light. Was that heavy for you guys?
Not really.
That was good.
You guys are jacked.
It was a perfect flip.
It was a perfect flip.
Well done.
Anything fun?
This is probably the bottom of the bone over here. This concretion layer, maybe. Potential. Maybe. Yeah. I don't think we lost anything.
I don't think so.
Yeah, this is all here.
And some applause in the chat on a textbook flip, you guys.
W's.
A large amount. Maybe.
Yeah. Look at that.
Right, Luke, do you want to just whittle this down?
So, next step is to pare this down. So, I'm gonna get some hand tools and kind of like Ethan's doing. Right now, he's checking to make sure that there's no bone exposed on the ventral side, on the underside of the jacket.
But it's super fossiliferous, right under the bone layer, obviously. So you don't need to be too aggressive or remove too much. Show me the bone.
So, you know, we've got some pros here. People with a lot of experience. I'd actually be curious to calculate out the total number of combined years of fossil excavation experience we have on the crew this year. It's going to be a lot. But yeah, you build the jacket tall enough like that, and hopefully you won't have any bones spilling out the bottom when you go to flip it. Yeah, there was sort of a calculated risk that they took in not undercutting and having sort of a few bottom strips around there, but the jacket was small enough that they were able to get away with a clean flip without doing that. So yeah, much of field paleontology is like that. You kind of only are as careful as you need to be because we're pressed for time out here. We don't have a whole year in order to work this site. We're trying to get as many bones out as quickly as we can. We'll be able to bring this one back to camp today, which is really nice. So I'm happy about that. So now the process begins. Paring this thing down. So Luke is going to be removing some of the rock here in order to thin this jacket out, make it easier to carry. It'll take up less space in the truck bringing it back to the museum, and it'll take up less space in storage before it gets prepped. Very nice. Mooncloud says that is amazing. Pretty cool, right? You know? Yeah. This isn't in Jurassic Park where everything's fake. There's a whole beautiful dinosaur skeleton, like a sculpture, just lying there in the ground. This is the real deal right here. Cloud says, can't say it enough. Glad to live in a time when I can watch this happen. And thank you for your passion in sharing this and educating. And thank you to the crew for putting up with me doing this too, you know. Yeah, it's pretty cool that we can share this with the world.
Nothing to put up with, Danny. This is awesome.
Oh, I appreciate that, James. Oh. Chuckner says, good thing the bones aren't vertical. Yeah, that happens sometimes, but generally speaking, in a setting like this, you're not going to get bones that are straight up and down. You know, they tend to fall over, they tend to settle down into the mud or the sand. Gravity, you know, does its thing and lays the bones out flat for the most part. And that's mostly what's happened here.
Oh, Doug brought up this one.
Anywho, how are you able to say the age of the bones when out in the field? Is it by the age of the site? That's exactly it. Living Dead Girl, yeah. So these rocks are estimated to be about 73 million years old because we've got dates for rocks. What's that?
73 million years old.
Oh, yeah.
That's how old I am.
Yeah, we've got dates for rocks underlying this and overlying this. And so we know the almond formation is going to be in between those dates. So this is one of the most fundamental concepts in all of geology, is the law of superposition. So basically older things down lower, newer things above. You know, picture your laundry basket at home. You know, the clothes that you wore earlier, they're going to be at the bottom of the basket. You keep throwing dirty clothes in there. The most recently worn ones are going to be at the top. Usually, you know. At least, you know, the oldest ones are down at the bottom. The most recently ones that are thrown in are going to be at the top. Does that make sense? It's the same with rocks. So if you look at a different bands of rock in a geological formation, the oldest ones are at the bottom, the newest ones are at the top. So if we have dates for ones that are older than the almond and younger than the almond, we know the almond is within that bracket there. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah. And Grimwitch says, I have found many a skeleton of an ancient beast in my laundry. You sound like you lead an interesting life. I applaud you. Yeah. Anyhow. Philo, first in, last out. Basically, Niffler, yeah. Although it does get a little complicated sometimes. You can get rocks that get flipped. Like whole rock units are just turned over by like an uplift event. We've got a lot of that in coastal California. We've also got rocks that get squished and crunched and like they almost do a loop-de-loop in certain places because you've got the Pacific plate subducting underneath the North American plate, and you know, lots of complicated weird stuff can happen. But that's a story for another time. That's not really the case out here. Yeah. Man, it's getting a little warm for this jacket. I might take this off. And then we'll go make the rounds again. Oh, looks like they've got more stuff over there. Ethan's breaking out the glue. Nice. We'll go there in a couple minutes. But yeah, let's take this jacket off. Too warm for this right now. It's funny how quickly conditions can change out here in Wyoming. You know, might be 30 degrees at night, might be 80 degrees, and temperature might be doing all kinds of weird stuff in between there. Ugh. I don't think I need these goggles anymore either. Ugh. we are. Nice. Yeah. Put my goggles back in their protective sleeve. And they're dusty. There we go. Nice. Okay. Pick that up. Hang on, let me check on our battery level for our satellite dish too. Make sure we're not struggling here. Not too shabby at all. That's pretty good. We've been blessed with sunshine this afternoon for the purposes of the stream. Gotcha. All right, let me get some water. We'll go check in and see what the rest of the crew's doing after that. All right. Okay. Yeah. And Oculus, thank you for the subscription. It's good to have you back. I hope you're having a great day. 25 months. Appreciate that, Oculus. And Starma says, so is there an area where there is volcanic or metamorphic rock formation? Kind of, yeah. So Starmy, we're actually getting a visit in a few days from somebody who works on this kind of thing. Yeah, maybe in a minute I can ask Ethan about that. But yeah, there's a few different ways that you can directly date rocks rather than relative dating. If you find a volcanic ash, you can find radioactive isotopes in that ash, and you can directly date those. Kind of like an hourglass. This is not for your benefit, Tommy, but for anybody else who's wondering how radiometric dating works. Kind of like an hourglass, you can tell how long it's been since it was turned over by how much sand is in either chamber of it. You can do that with radioactive isotopes. We know that they decay at a steady rate, and so if you look at the ratio of different radioactive isotopes in a sample, you can tell how long ago it was that that rock was laid down. You can also do that with something called a zir. So don't necessarily come from volcanic eruptions, I don't think. You can find them in lots of different kinds of rock. It's almost like a crystal that radioactive isotopes within it. And with the right kind of equipment and the right know-how, you can decipher those and figure out how old the rock is. Yeah. And how many different academic fields will generally be involved in a dig, such as planetologists, paleobotanists, geologists, etc.? I'm glad. That's a great question. Here in our quarry right now, we've got folks who are students in paleontology. We've got some professional paleontologists, I guess. We've got some people who work in the environmental sciences. So I believe that would be... I think that's what Quinn does for his day job, right? Quinn, you're in the environmental sciences, right? Yeah. And then we even have some folks in other fields too, like for instance, law. So there's Lauren right there, and
hopefully there's nothing for me to do today.
My bachelor's in conservation.
Conservation, nice. Yeah. But yeah, Lauren's a law professor nowadays, which is pretty cool. So yeah, she's here helping us out. And
Danny.
Yeah.
Because I heard you were mentioning about like volcanic ash for dating, right? Mm-hmm. You know that was used for the Fairmead landfill in California. The
nice, yeah,
stuff there.
That makes sense. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, Dr. Robert Dundas' work, I think.
Very cool. Yeah. So close to home sometimes, which is neat.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a big name in geology and paleontology out here in a few days or a little while. I think Ray Rogers is gonna be joining us, which is cool, and he's gonna be on the lookout for some datable ash layers. So if he can find an ash with material in it that is datable, we could get a solid date on the Almond Formation, and I could stop saying about 73 million years old and give you a more definite number, which for me is exciting. That'd be a nice payoff. Yeah. Good stuff. And Starmy says, can you also use coal or other fossil fuel types to date rocks? I don't think so. Yeah, usually organically derived strata like that, like coal, unless it's super, super recent, like within the last 100,000 years, you might be able to use carbon-14 dating or something. But that stuff is not going to be useful for anything this old. It's going to be useless for the Cretaceous, basically. Just one? Okay, bless you.
No, thank you, Doc.
Yeah. Excellent. Anything poking out there?
Yeah, look at this guy over here.
Oh boy!
I know.
That was really close to.
That as close as yeah.
Well done. Shoot.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's a weird shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flat and kind of squiggly.
What we got here? Mystery bone. Oh, seriously?
Mystery bone.
No way.
And that's lower down.
It almost reminds me of like those bundles of ossified tendons that you have in Chilosaurid, but not quite. I don't know. It's flatter than that.
Interesting.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. That would make sense for that to be here.
Yeah.
That would be a nice find.
That might be might have to be something for Almond Formation Season 3. We'll finally have that reveal after this has been prepped in the lab.
Yes. It's gonna be a bit. Stuff takes time.
And wait, this is Season 3. Season 4, sorry. Interesting change in lithology here, too.
Yes.
I've got this kind of shaly mud, and then...
very loose sand.
Weird.
Yeah. Flaky sandstone.
Huh.
With a lot of little organic bits in it.
Interesting.
Finding a lot of little bits of charcoal and plant material in here.
Cool. Yeah, under other circumstances, we might be concerned with might have to take some samples of this back to the lab, but this is a big enough jacket, and there's going to be enough, matrix in here that any kind of analysis you want to run, you could just do it from the stuff in the jacket.
So I have a question, Dan.
Sure, James.
So, since we found a bone right there, does that mean it'd be worth it to dig a little deeper into this bed here?
Potentially, yeah. Yeah.
Well, don't forget, my fish is down there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Underneath that burlap?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we don't quite know how deep all this stuff goes. And then there are others where, you think you've finished out a quarry, at Doling's Bowl. There was a that was found with its legs kind of going straight down like it was stuck in the mud.
You serious?
And then, but underneath that, after that was excavated, I think Ethan may have actually found it, because it's called Ethan's bathtub or Ethan's wash. But there's another whole layer underneath there with iguanodonts. So, yeah, it's immediately underneath. So yeah, sometimes you just keep digging and you find other newer stuff and other beds underneath there. So it happens.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Good question. Yeah. And let's see. And Starmy says, say you find more bones below the jacket you just slept, then what? Imagine you start jacketing over. But you write that down somewhere? Oh yeah, so all of these things are going to be mapped. All of this is going to go onto what we call a quarry map. That'll show where each of these elements came from. And that can be really important information. it can help us determine what kind of ancient environment this was. Is it part of a river? Is it part of a lake? Is there a direction of flow? You know, and that might help us out in future years. If we return to this site, which area do you want to look for more stuff in? If we know the direction of flow in a river, then we know, okay, downstream is that direction, that's where we expect to find more bones, that kind of thing. So, again, this is kind of the difference between a professional scientific paleontological dig like we're conducting and like kind of a more commercial operation where if, you know, folks are just doing this for money to be able to sell the fossils off of private land, they're probably not going to take the time to do a detailed quarry map and all of that because, you know, time is money and money is what they're after. So, anyhow, I'm generalizing here, but generally speaking, that's true. And welcome, Geek Store. Good to see you here. How are you? Yeah. We'll check in with Fisher and Ava over here. Let's see, anything new and exciting in this neighborhood?
Not really. It's more loose stuff in the unconsolidated layers. I feel a little out of my depth.
Yeah? Used to just finding microfossils left and right? Yeah. You wish you were back at Turtle Hill right now?
Yeah, I kind of do, yeah. But I don't want to disrupt the flow of the day to get carried back there.
It's nice to have you here for a while, Fisher.
Yeah. But every site is different, and so whenever I start somewhere, I'm usually a little bit overly cautious because I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm not.
That's wise.
I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
Just kind of the mechanics of it yet. So even though I've been doing this for, I think it's my, 4th year doing paleontological field work.
Nice.
It's still important to exercise caution.
Absolutely.
And be humble.
Yep.
And recognize when you do not know what you're doing quite yet. And so that's where I am right now. It's like, you know, I'm just trying to take it easy, you know, observe what other people are doing and, you know.
That's good philosophy to have.
Don't get too cocky.
Yeah.
You know?
Would you say, Fisher, you're the best at being humble?
Absolutely not, you know. I have my prideful moments here and there, you know.
You're supposed to say yes, but I don't know. I think you're the best at being humble, Fisher.
I try.
Yeah. That was the correct answer, because anyway. Yeah, and that's a really, really neat scoop you got there, Ava.
Yeah.
I like the color.
It's so I don't lose it, honestly.
Yeah.
No, I just stole it from my friend who wasn't really using it. There was this huge bush here before, and since the bone layer is underneath it, I had to kill the bush, unfortunately.
That's how it goes, yeah.
It hurts my heart a little bit, but...
Yeah. Folicide? Bushicide? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's too bad.
Is there a name on the back of that scoop? Oh, look at that.
Oh.
that's my scoop. You are welcome to use it, because I'm glad it's being used. Yeah. What?
That was just a funny interaction. That's mine. It's crazy you found that.
I was using that earlier and not finding anything, so
Pretty interesting.
Definitely. How are you doing, AJ?
I'm doing pretty awesome. I mean, hey, we're digging holes.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
But yeah, honestly, even with the weather, it's been a lovely day. Lovely crew.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice, not to, dissociate or anything, but it's good to clear your mind. This is kind of a
It's kind of meditative, right?
It really, taking your time and being careful on something you care about is a great way to just ease yourself.
It's a nice exercise.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good way to get away from the rat race. And,
oh my lord.
Yeah, detach from the social meteors and all that stuff.
I could do this every day for the rest of my life. This is where I'd be.
Maybe, inshallah. That will,
inshallah.
That will be your fate. We shall see.
Shall the fates allow it? Mashallah, we shall see.
Awesome. Thanks, AJ.
Of course. That's a log. Thank you.
That's a log?
Rip.
I don't know.
It doesn't. Yeah. Doesn't look particularly bony.
This looks like a knot in wood.
Okay.
I'd keep it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Or a knot in fish.
I'm not going to go down any Further, I don't think that's gonna be all the way up there.
I would. I think in the sand I would. Ooh, is that fuck?
Das Fuster says, I wonder if they stay on site or do they stay locally and commute? No, we sleep out here under the stars. Yeah, the crew members who are higher on the pecking order get to sleep in the vehicles, but other folks have to sleep in the sagebrush, you know, and then catch rodents for sustenance each morning. No, I'm kidding. Our camp is a few miles away, and we got tents and stuff like that. Yeah. Although a few of us from Pittsburgh are staying in an actual house, which is good for them. You know, must be nice. I'm not really jealous. I like camping. I got a nice tent this year, just like I had last year. A spring bar, just like Papa Jim. And they brought a house out there? Wow, says Trailer's Record. I know, right? Yeah, good stuff. And yeah, I have slept in a vehicle before, though, Mizart Rules, yeah. A few times. Sometimes if we get like a bad thunderstorm and there's just lightning out the wazoo, we will have to sleep in the vehicles because, yeah, just like Papa Jim says, you know, lightning's the quickest way to die out here. So yeah, generally if there's a bad thunderstorm, we will leave our tents and go sleep inside of los carros. Because generally if a car gets struck by lightning, the inhabitants inside will be okay. Not so for like a nylon or canvas tent. And Claire Burr says, does the Prius have fold-down bag? Absolutely. That's how I get all my gear in there. Yeah. Anywho. Dust Fuster says, I slept on an Abrams tank for years and years, so I know the feeling. That doesn't sound the most comfortable. Shoot. I don't know if that would be safe in a lightning storm. Are there any instances of main battle tanks being struck by lightning? I wonder. I'm curious now. Yeah.
I think the armor is like some kind of ceramic mix, so I think it might not be as conductive.
Some of the armor is, yeah, but not all of it. And also, that's the thing about a car that makes it like safe from lightning is that you've got 4 rubber tires.
That's handy.
Yeah, and that acts to insulate it from the ground. Yeah, so you don't have the lightning passing directly through. It's just, you know, it's insulated. I don't think that's true for tank treads. I think tank treads are probably metal. So yeah, you might if a military tank gets struck by lightning, it might be curtains for the occupants. But yeah. Jim, I like how like, what is Lamana digging on? He's so digging up hadrosaur. They've got more duck-billed dinosaur bones out there, and that site that Nick Hornacek found is turning into a big turtle. It looks like, which is exciting. That might be our first big turtle from the Almond Formation. First one that I know of, at least. Ethan might know of others from before my time. Yeah.
I don't think so.
What's that?
I don't think
Really? So it might be our first big turtle? Nice. All right. Thanks, Luke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deathsaurus says, chat, let's pool our money together and get Danny and the crew a tank. I don't know if the BLM would approve of that, the Bureau of Land Management.
I'd say an MRAP would be more useful.
An MRAP, yeah. You know what? Shoot, get us a helicopter.
Yeah.
That would be pretty nice. Yeah. Because, I mean, look at these poor boys having to carry this huge, heavy jacket. Like, all of this way to the truck. I mean...
Help us.
Look at that. That's going to be such a slog.
Help us.
Imagine if you had a helicopter to pick this up and just let it down like a baby right there in the truck. That'd be so nice. So much more convenient. Yeah.
Very basic.
Anyway. Let's go see what kind of trouble Ethan's getting up to over there. Here we go, Jim. We can check in on your employee over here. Oh, sorry, Ethan's on the phone.
Oh, sweet. That sounds awesome.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Peter.
What is it, Edie? What? Who is it?
Who is that man?
Who's that bad man? Who is that? Go get him! Go get him!
Hi, Edie.
She's all sheepish now. She's like, oh, it's Quinn. One of these days, you know.
One of these he'll be a stranger. Good job, Edie. Doing your job.
And Jim says the Russians use tanks with blades to dig at Iron Dabasu on the Chinese-Mongolian border. Yeah, I read about that. Yeah, the big, it's almost like a battlefield bulldozer kind of thing, right? With like a big dozer on the front. Yeah, that's. I think that would use a lot of fuel. I don't know if we have money for that, but yeah. Although I suppose if you have a tank, then you have a means of acquiring fuel. if you're willing to be unscrupulous about it. I don't know if anybody's going to stop you. About half a gallon of fuel per mile. That's nuts, Das Fuster. That's nuts. Significantly less than my 2008 Toyota Prius, which I think I got like 43 miles to the gallon on the way here. That was going pretty fast too. I could crack 50 if I want to take it slow. Oh, that's my idea of a field vehicle there. Toyota Prius. Anywho.
When I hear the Abrams, I think of the one from the first Transformers movie.
Ken says, I've never been in a tank, but have done live fire maneuvers in association with them. I'm sure they're insulated. Oh, insulated from lightning. Really? That would make sense, huh? Huh. I wonder how recent a development that is. Like, around what time they started making tanks that way. It's hard to imagine like a light tank like a Stuart, or even like a World War II main battle tank like an M4 Sherman. You wouldn't think they'd have that kind of setup there, but I don't know. I don't know enough about tanks. Yeah. How many guys got lightninged in World War II before they insulated them? It's a good question, Claire Burr. That's a good question. Oh boy. So now that we've seen up there that we had those vertebrae in that concretion, it makes me wonder how many of these might have bone lurking inside, right there on the surface. This one doesn't really look like it, but we could do a game like this where we just pick up each one and see if we've got bone. That actually looks like bone right here. A little chunk of bone right there. We've got that trabecular, like interior bone texture. I don't know if this would be useful for worth collecting, but yeah. About here. Stuff is all over the place. What a cool site. We could be working here for years. Yeah. It's funny, in previous years we've been talking about like, oh man, imagine what we could do with 25 people in camp, and now we have that. So we're running 3 different sites simultaneously. We might get up to 6 or 7 sites potentially during the summer, depending on how things go. Yeah, feels pretty good. This whole thing is Ethan's brainchild, our expedition lead, our fearless leader. Let's see what he's up to over here now that I think he's off the phone. Let's see. Anything good over here? Can I interrupt for a sec?
Just trying to glue this gar back together.
Ah.
Gar char.
I think, I don't know, this site, I'm not as much of a talker.
Nice. So, Jim, I don't know if you were here earlier, but we've got what seems to be several articulated here at this, which is pretty exciting. We got ankylosaurs and we got lepisosteus.
Oh, I did take your back.
Lepisostea. Rhombic ganoid fish scales.
Nice.
On the phone. On the phone with the old ball and chain.
Audio.
Yeah, we've got that's thick. Shoot.
Thick.
Although I guess that's what you want if you want it. Nice.
You see that?
Oh, look at that! Look at that click. Did you see that?
Did you see that, people? This is gonna make you freak. Are you ready?
Excellent.
Did you get any poggers?
Not yet.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. They actually got rid of the Pog emote a while ago. Oh, there we go. They replaced it with the Komodo Dragon one, which is honestly way cooler.
Definitely.
Have you seen that one?
I haven't.
Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, but yeah, now that you said it, we've got some.
I shouldn't be doing it.
We've got some poggers going on.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
Look at this. You've seen this, right?
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
That's more of a gar, brother. What's gorgeous?
Gars. Yeah.
Gar me up and butter me down.
That be a gar.
Mother gar.
It's like that old adage.
The old saying.
It's like that old saying. That's the old saying, gars.
Gars will do what gars do.
Dude.
Are there spherules in the gills? Jim wants to know.
Not likely.
Yeah.
But I can't see that far. I can't see that close. Not likely.
Little Pink Pony says, did he say gorgeous?
Yep.
You bet he did, yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Ethan, do you want me to try to get this crust removed, or we just...
Very cool. Let me get some more water. And for anybody just joining us, welcome to Paleontologizing. Welcome to beautiful southern Wyoming. Welcome to a live dinosaur dig where we're excavating a new species of armored dinosaur and some armored fishes too, gar. Here in the same quarry, in the late Cretaceous Almond Formation, rocks about 73 million years old. We're having a grand old time. Happy you can join us here. Let me know if you've got any questions. This channel is called Paleontologizing. The whole point is to show you what it's like to do fossil science right now, live in the field. So let me know if you've got any questions. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. Paleontology is the study of fossils in general. Everything from fossil bacteria to fossil baleen whales, from fossil frogs to fossil ferns. But I work on dinosaurs, and here we're digging up some dinosaurs and whatever else we can collect, whatever data we can gather to try and figure out what this ancient environment was like, to try and piece together, another piece in this grand puzzle, the history of life on Earth. It's a privilege to be able to share this with all of you, and I'm going to drink some water before I keep talking. So let me do that. Kleber says, please do, and send chats fervent appreciation of the crew and all they do. You bet, Claire. Yeah. I certainly will. All right. Good stuff. Thus, Fuster, do you get to wear the cool hat after? No, I bought this hat online when I was in high school, actually. I think I was like a junior in high school, maybe a sophomore. I've had this hat a long time. It's treated me really well. I'm lucky. Yeah. And Jim says gars get pretty big. Articulated ones are rare. They are. That's why we're so excited. We think we've got 3 different articulated gars right here in this quarry, which is pretty loco for Choco Puffs. That's uncommon. So we're excited. Yeah. And are there paleontologists with anthropology degrees? There are, Starman. Yeah, there are. Yeah, sometimes people start off in anthropology, and then they move into paleo. There's also paleoanthropology, which is like if you're studying fossil hominins. That's the field. Yeah, so there is some degree of overlap for sure.
Danny.
Yeah.
One of my thesis advisors, he's actually a paleoanthropologist. He was one of Dr. Donald Savage's students.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually.
Nice.
That was like my early paleo courses was paleoanthropology because at East Bay that's really the closest thing we have.
Nice,
Human evolution, things like that.
Yeah, my mentor at Berkeley, Patricia Holroyd, she started off in anthropology before going into paleo. So they're kind of adjacent fields. There's some degree of overlap there. Yeah.
Oliver, she also does. She's done some work in Wyoming too, right?
A lot of work in Wyoming. Yeah. A lot of work on like Eocene turtles and mammals. Yeah, she might even be out here right now, actually, come to think of it. I want to say she had some field work planned. So yeah, Wyoming is something of a mecca for paleontology, along with Montana and Utah. Got to make sure I mention Utah with Jim watching. And the Dakotas and Colorado. Yeah, the Intermountain West. Lots of good fossils out here. Working hard there, Luke?
I'm doing work on my multitasking here. Would you get off my back?
Yeah, you bet. No. I'm so glad we're going to be able to get this. Do you think we'll be able to get this back to camp today? Yeah. That's the plan, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, that'll probably dictate when we wrap everything else up. Is like.
I think so.
Yeah.
Once we cap it, it's good natural.
Are we keeping the log, or are we going to thin that down?
We're gonna keep the log.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Super sketchy. We're gonna keep the log. There's a little more up here, which I'm kind of not as concerned about. 'Cause it's not as nice.
Yeah. Well, shoot, I'm dreading the hike. Having to get this thing back to
Can I get someone we
back to the truck.
It's gonna be brutal.
I know. I mean, look at this. It's gonna be nuts. Yeah.
Got it.
How's it going, Quinn?
How do you think about doing this?
What do we got going? Oh. Yeah.
I'm like a little sketchy at some shit's going on.
Do we have bone in there?
I think the bone is just really on the top. So.
Really on the top. Okay. I wonder if this might call for drastic measures. Just taking a hammer and chisel and like trying to break that part right there. Just cut straight down, so we don't undercut.
Like right here.
This corner.
To here.
Yeah, there, or even like right here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? That would be my first
pulling
instinct.
it out would, I feel like, be stupid.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good idea. Getting this off.
Yeah.
But we're keeping this because this is where that came from.
Ooh. Okay.
So. Didn't find anything else over here. So.
Yeah. I'd try and just cut that straight down if you can.
All right.
Like, it might take brute forcing it, but it's better than trying to like pull out a big keystone and the whole thing on this side just goes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. This is how it goes when we're working all day. Point the end of the hammer. Yeah. If you want a better chisel, let me know. I've got one. Although that's probably pretty decent though.
Yeah.
It's very precise. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I hope that helped.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like that.
Jim says need diamond cutoff saw.
Yeah.
That would be pretty nice.
An ankle grinder, you know.
Yeah.
Nice. I forgot Jim was in here. Hi, Jim. Good to see you.
Yeah. Jim might be typing on his phone, so it might take a little while, but if he says hello, Quinn, I'll let you know, Quinn.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go see what else is going on. Spencer and Katie, anything yet?
No. Just more dirt.
I bet you've got a complete skull just right underneath there.
Right underneath,
Just-
yeah. We've
just
still
keep
just
going,
been
yeah.
trying to get to the bone layer. There's just so much
Yeah.
nothing.
Which is weird, because in some places the overlying stuff is really thin. And
Yeah, unless it's like super tough. It like doesn't want to, but
Yeah.
it does eventually.
Again, I had this morning where like I was working up there. I had to go real slow because there's a bunch of roots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super rooty.
Yep. Eventually we'll be done with all the plants here and yeah, just be straight rock without any roots to worry about. But that day is not today. Yeah. Oh, Don just bought a diamond blade saw. Very cool, Jim. That is exciting. Nice. Oh, and he says howdy, Quinn. Hello.
Hopefully see you in Billing Bowl one of these
Yeah,
years.
that would be awesome, Quinn. I really hope you can make it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be sweet.
Oh, by the way, Quinn, put you on the spot. Do we have a music recommendation for today?
Oh, shoot, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I'll come back.
All right.
Yeah. Feel free to call me over if you got a good one. Oh, yeah. She likes if you kind of throw it like right over her head.
Yeah, I know that. I'm
If you can do
trying
it, yeah.
not to hit her.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I'm also
It's a
like
dangerous game.
Yeah.
Well, it's like kind of like a creature. There could be going in there.
She's like, I know your games. Nice.
I took this day off because I came back to camp. She apparently missed me because the moment she saw me when we got back to camp, she ran up to me.
Nice. That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, my dog's probably gonna just jump on me when I get home.
Yep. Yeah, the cats I live with are gonna do the same thing. Well, not really. They're cats. But yeah.
Busted through my fence.
Anyway.
Pulled a slat off of my fence and bolted out.
Shoot. Like as you got home?
No, it was the
Oh.
other way around. We were dog sitting for my brother.
Oh.
He pulls up and the
Uh-huh.
dog busted through the fence.
I'm glad he waited till that moment. Yeah. Anna and Derek, how you doing over here?
Pretty good. I
Yeah.
did find my first bone
Oh
yesterday.
yeah, nice.
So
Looks good.
thank you. Yeah, we're kind of just scoping the perimeter out, but we're not quite sure what this is yet.
We
Derek-
think we have the full.
Yeah, we think we
This is like the
found-
end. So it's like this
Right.
shape.
Yeah, Ethan's not quite sure yet.
And then I found just an osteoderm. You can see
Nice,
like the two
okay.
ends of it buried here.
Very nice. Yeah. Awesome.
A little less luck up here in Mudville.
Yeah.
But it's got to come out.
Higher in section up there, but yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
you're working through it nice and slow.
Yeah.
Because again, this
There's
is
some stuff going
there's
on
stuff
up here.
all over, like multiple different levels here.
Yeah, it
It's-
seems very
right?
undulating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we had to dig, I don't know, you could probably see there, but we had to dig real deep here to finally get to the bone layer.
Right.
Yeah, because this is from the same time, or could it have been later, or
It's a good question.
Single layer.
It's hard to say what the deposition rate is here. We do know that we've got different layers with different lithology. So we've got mud, we've got sand, we've got silty and sand in like shaly stuff. So I'm guessing there's probably a good amount of time represented in here. But
Some river changing direction or something.
yeah,
like that.
exactly. Yeah. We'll continue to figure that out as we go along. So important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nice to see this get used to. We got so it's already
But we were
quite
joking.
useful. Yeah.
How do you measure? What is that like? I don't even know how I would determine what a half cup is.
We might have to crowdsource.
I mean, maybe if you're doing jelly beans or something like that. Like,
somebody on this feed knows how to use one
Yeah,
of
like
these
do you
properly.
measure it, flat to this?
I think you
Or-
hold it up.
Or you hold
right?
it up, but then.
But like at an angle, maybe.
what angle?
45-degree angle.
But
I
then
would
you're
guess?
gonna have a slope. I
Right.
feel like. Yeah.
Top should be flat.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just making me laugh because I was like, I don't know how helpful that really is, but
Where's the meniscus there?
Yeah.
Yeah, the chat is definitely going to know this.
yeah, tell us, chat.
Yeah.
Oh, baker's nose, says Pate B. Oh, is this like for flour? Is that the idea?
I don't know.
I think it was for feed, like chicken feed.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. Just doesn't seem very accurate, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just using it
doesn't
wrong.
have to be for chicken feed, right?
Yeah. This is not an exact
kernels. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Making our way.
Anyway, good stuff.
At least more.
I knew it was you. Like noise-wise?
Oh, Edie.
All right, I can tell you want me to throw you another one. There you go. I can tell when she really wants another one because if I'm dropping the dirt, she'll run up to me and be like, "Give me a rock already."
Yep.
It's a rock. It's just a happy coincidence.
She's got you well trained. Oh boy.
Yeah, like I try to like communicate with them.
And Starman says you hold it at a 45-degree angle and then you have the amount of feed until that line. At least that's how I was taught. There we go. Yeah. And Salamander says when we fed the horses, it became pretty second nature to know by weight if you had a sufficient scoop. So you're saying you do the weight equivalent of eyeballing it?
So it's amateur hour to use
Yeah.
Is just a scoop good enough?
I don't know, yeah.
Here you go, horsey.
Like, open wide. That's why you've got the narrow mouth scoop, you know? Goes right into the horse's mouth. That's how horses work, right? And then you have to put the hose directly into its gullet.
Chips out of this thing.
And Tapir 2342, how are you doing? Hi, Danny in chat. So many people in the field today. You bet, Tapir. Good to have you here. Welcome back to southern Wyoming, where we're digging up a new species of armored dinosaur. By the way, Tapir 2342, did I already tell you about the tapir song that we discovered on World Tapir Day this year? Somebody in the chat has got to have that link handy for the tapir song. It's one of our new favorite jams here on this channel. Good stuff. Yeah. There's a song, and there is tapir. Lenina, you are quick on the draw there. Lenina, I thought you had to drive the kids somewhere or something. You back? Nice. While driving. I hope not. I'm back. Nice. Welcome back, Lenina. Yeah. I like the back of Luke's shirt right there. Safety awareness. Are you aware of driller safety?
Always. Well, no, not anymore. I don't work here anymore, so I don't have to be aware of.
Yeah, you can be unaware of driller safety.
Yes.
Oblivious to driller safety. Well, what were some of the fine points of driller safety?
You know, I honestly didn't go to this. They just had some free shirts left over, so I just took one.
Nice.
I like a long sleeve
Yeah.
kind of field shirt.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just it's good to have high vis.
It is.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially when we're working on the road. So if anybody comes by, we can say, this is our foreman here.
Yep.
Yeah. You just have to yell at us and, really sell that.
I know. I don't have any Carhartt on, unfortunately.
We'll get some the next time we go to town.
I didn't bring my FR clothing.
I don't know. They'll see those shoes though. They'll be like, "Yeah, this guy's legit."
Yeah, they're toed. Composite toed land sharks.
Nice.
I mean, I just have. Oh my god.
Das Fuster says safety third. Oh yeah, that's how it goes around here. No, not really. We try to be very, very safety conscious. And Mechaholic, thank you for the 45 months of support. Holy cow, that's it's almost a whole year, isn't it? Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Ooh, looks like Fisher's got something over there. Man, if we didn't have so many people in the quarry at the moment, I would be there digging too, but it's like, it almost feels we have too many people. It's great though. I'm glad the ceratopsian folks have a little bit of respite from their hard labor.
I miss the sounds of the battle.
What do you think of this fish?
This size? Oh, what I'm holding? I'm just worried about it like being intact. I like what I'm
They're
seeing.
they're in the toe. They might be in a black
I'm
bag.
so used to them being disarticulated.
Check that out. Baba booey.
Okay, a lot of what I'm looking at right now is like wood. But there's really a tooth over there. That looks freaking cool.
You got a tooth?
Isn't that what that is on that side?
Where?
Where my thumb.
Is it?
We'll see that.
Oh, is that a jaw?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh man.
Nice. And holy cow, Lordy, 61 months of support. Holy moly. How you doing, Lordy? It's good to see you. I hope your trip is going well. 61 months. That is very nearly a whole year, isn't it? I'm not a mathematician. Oh man, cool. We've got a bird dog fight going on over there.
I'm just gonna go look at your pup.
What are those, Peter? That sounds like a red tail.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello.
We've got 3 of them? I don't know if you can see, chat. Probably not. It's behind the smudge.
Yeah, that's totally red tail. The
I've got.
They're making are the eagle noises they put in movies.
Yeah. I've got some binoculars in the in my car, in the glove compartment, the passenger compartment. You know, yeah, they're in a black bag. Yeah. We've got a very ardent birder here. That's Peter, and he's gonna see if he can catch a glimpse of these guys.
Let me know.
Yeah, good stuff. Oh, do you see that side by side down there?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Ethan.
Yeah.
Look. They might be heading this way. We'll see.
I got this. Yeah, I'll just sweep them.
No, we're here to play nice. We're permanent after all.
I'll simply disappear with these tails and we'll put them in a jacket.
Put Chat's camera up to the binoculars, says Barian. I don't think that's going to work. Oh, he's coming close.
Yeah. Oh. He was looking. Do you think that's the same one that was around there?
Yeah, you probably can't see it all, Chat. Sorry. Yeah, there's 3.
Holy.
Yeah, they're flying around, goofing off. Get back to work. Catch some rodents. That's what Denver Fowlers used to say when we were in the field. You know, no matter what kind of animal it was, like, do your job. Get back to work. Catch some mosquitoes. Yeah, looks like a tuvu. No, I did see a turkey vulture earlier, Mizart Rules. That is a red tail there, I think. What do you think, Peter? Red tail?
Yeah, totally.
Nice. I know I heard a red tail call.
That's definitely what it is.
Yeah, there were 3 of them. One of them could have been a raven or something, but
Maybe, yeah.
3 red tails. The binoculars aren't the best, but they're what I got.
Great, they work.
Oh, and there goes a plastic bag. I'll have to go get that later.
Did they go far?
Where did it go?
Kind of, yeah. Went over the other side of the hill. Thanks, Ava. You're going the right direction. Just go straight. Kind of go to your right a little bit. Sorry, I'm yelling into the microphone, Chat. Apologies. Bad streamer etiquette. Yeah. Oh, nice catch. That was fast.
A nice prickly little cactus. caught it for me.
How considerate.
I know.
Yeah. Nice. And oh boy, 5 o'clock. Coming right up. Very cool. Mooncloud says, the creek near us, we take drives past with our kids, that has hawks that nest in the trees. Also ducks and geese and beavers. You have beavers nesting in the trees? That's pretty unique. Sounds like a cool place. Yeah. Starma says, got any dangerous animals over there? Yeah, shoot, you want to see one?
Hi.
Somebody in chat was asking if we have any dangerous animals we could show.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
He's an animal. Yeah, don't let him fool you.
The most powerful weapon is the mind.
Everybody, that's my son Fisher. Yeah. Well, hopefully, Fisher, I can spend some time at Turtle Hill in a few days.
Absolutely, we'd love to have you.
That would be really cool. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be cool. Spend some time with Fisher. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Lenina says, Fisher, Father's Day is next Saturday. Be prepared. Better find me some more mammals.
You know, I've got things in the works.
Sounds good, son. All right. And that is awesome family business. It's a joke, Mooncloud. He's not really my son. Yeah. I don't have any kids, at least none that I know of.
He does, fingers crossed.
Yeah. And from Ash Odinson, they say, these streams have just been the best thing ever. Thank you so much, Annie. Thank you, Ash Odinson. Appreciate your enthusiasm and your kind words and your support. It really does mean a lot. This is a community endeavor, not just this dig that we're doing right now, but also these streams. I could not do this were it not for the collective support of so many subscribers and cheerers and gifters and just viewers too, you know? People donating to the Ko-Fi, and I think I've even got some supporters on Patreon, which is nuts because I don't even post anything there. They just, out of the goodness of their hearts, want to help support me, support science outreach on Twitch, and it's a real privilege to be able to do this, you know? Yeah. Yeah. And what's the opinion on site about where the ornithischians belong on the dinosaur family tree? On the bird hip side of things. Yeah. No, you're talking about like the Ornithoscelida hypothesis. I think that hasn't seen a lot of support since, what was it, Barron et al. Published that? 2017? Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have supported that. Yeah. So it's, if anything, the dinosaur family tree is probably what everybody thought it was. Theropods and sauropods allied within Saurischia. Ornithischians all together on the other side of the family tree. It makes the most sense. In fact, actually, we talked about that with Jake the other day around the campfire. Maybe it was at the site at Purple Puzzle, but he's like, what was it? He's like, I've got one word for the Ornithoscelida hypothesis proponents, and that's pneumaticity. Both theropods and sauropods have got those air sacs, those hollow spaces, the pneumatized diverticula in their vertebrae and stuff. That probably allies them together. They form a clade. Ornithischians don't really have that. They're outside of that clade. And that would make sense to me. Yeah. Charlie's Dragon says the dig silliness tends to creep into stream around this time of day. Might be because I'm getting tired too. Yeah. Yeah. And Geo Jim, thank you for the raid. How are you doing? Geo Jim and Raiders, welcome back to Paleontologizing. We are out here in southern Wyoming digging up a dinosaur at live on stream. Dinosaur and some garfish too. Multiple garfish. Stuff like that. Whatever we can get from here in the late Cretaceous almond formation, probably at the end boundary around about 73 million years ago. This is important work. I'm doing my best to stream it. So, welcome. How was your stream, Geo Jim? I hope it was really good. Interested in geology and would like to be able to talk with a geologist live on Twitch. Check out Geo Jim. Love these fieldwork streams. Me too, Geo Jim. Me too. Vexy says, how big are the garfish you found? Maybe not the biggest. The scales that we have are about like this. So about a centimeter, maybe centimeter and a half long. So, yeah, certainly not small, but not huge either. We're not talking about like record-breaking 2-meter long gar. This is probably something a little smaller than that. But yeah, and we've got multiple of them. We've got one down here in this hole, near where Doug is. He's crouching right there. Yeah, the gar is from right down in here. And we've got more up there. Yeah. Oh, Quinn, you got a music recommendation for us?
Oh no, I was just gonna tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Piece that we were looking at.
Yeah.
Turns out to be a full turtle shell.
What?
Yeah.
What?
That I fucking yanked out of there.
Oh
like
boy.
I'm a freaking idiot.
Well.
Sorry, chat.
Is there a thinner?
Mods ban me.
I mean, if there's ever a time appropriate for salty language, it's
on the
when we chunder a fossil. Yeah.
It's okay though.
Yeah.
We're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay.
All right.
We gonna be all right.
I'm gonna be in the doghouse.
Well, in your defense, it's not.
You looked at it though. You're like
an easy spot. I did. I mean, I'm not.
Here's the thing about this site. Concretions are bones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you see a concretion, it is a bone, and we're
Treat it like
we're
a
not
bone,
trying
yeah.
to expose bones. We're trying to expose concretions to jack them.
Yeah.
That's the mindset we need to have.
Yeah. Shoot.
That looks like it fits.
Broke into less pieces than
it could have. Yeah. It's salvageable. You know, we can work wonders in the lab too. Yeah.
Sorry, Jim. I hope you didn't see that. I usually don't do that.
Yeah. It happens to the best of us sometimes.
Hey, Luke. Can you take the guard?
Yeah. Oh well.
These two pieces here, buddy.
I hope it comes back together okay. I'm sure it will.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It fits perfectly right here.
Yeah.
So, and looks like there's pretty natural broken.
And now we know we've got a turtle before we even get it back to the lab. That's cool. That's cool.
I guess so.
Yeah. We can properly label the jacket at least. Yeah.
Yeah, dog.
It's alright. Rookie's mistake.
You know, we live. We ball.
Yeah. Anywho. Again, this is not the easiest site to work, and I say that as I'm walking through the middle of it. Let me carefully make my way over to where it's safe to step. But, yeah. Again, kind of a reminder, this isn't some Mickey Mouse pay-to-dig operation. This is the real deal, you know? This is the pro leagues here. And, yeah. Even pros strike out sometimes. Yeah. Vexy says, have you found any plant fossils near the gar and turtle? Yeah, over there, yes. So we've got a fossil root here in the underside of this jacket. Right here. Right there. So this is a fossil root. You can kind of see the texture right here. That rootiness. And then right up here too. Yeah. So, kind of interesting that, you know, it's often rare to find. It's often rare. What kind of a phrase is that? It's uncommon to find plant material right next to fossil bones. What I mean is fossil plants, fossil bones. Often the conditions that are required to fossilize both of those are different. Or at least that's what everybody says, but I've worked at a lot of sites, including this one, where you get fossil plant material right next to fossil bone material. So maybe that old adage is less true than everybody says. At the Dullings Bowl iguanodont site that we'll be at later this summer, we've got these weird ferny things called Tempskia, or something similar to Tempskia at least, kind of right next to some of these iguanodont bones. So, yeah. And it's cool when you have those I'm not going to say in association, but nearby each other in the same environment, because that gives you a sense for what that environment was like. You have a fossil animal, it's like, okay, great, this animal was here. Animals move around. That's kind of part of being an animal, is that you're motile. You move, at least in some stage of your life. So they can travel long distances, all kinds of stuff like that. Where you find them preserved is not necessarily where they lived in all cases. But fossil plants, plants are not really known for their mobility most of the time. At least not when they're, in their adult stages, like this lovely sagebrush here. They tend to be pretty sedentary. You might say. Stationary. So anyway, if you find fossil plant material in an area, that kind of tells you what that environment was like. But if you find a fossil animal in a spot, it may have walked in from elsewhere, it may have been carried down by a river, whatever, So I guess the point of this long ramble right now is to say that fossil plants are a really good indicator of what the ancient environment was like, more so than the animals are, believe it or not. Yeah. Anywho. We've got gars, a turtle, and a plant fossil, and ankylosaurs too. Makes me wonder if it was underwater, but the ankylosaur... Oh, so yeah, these definitely were deposited underwater, yes. So the rocks that we have here are sandstones and mudstones and shaly stuff. These were sediments that were laid down underwater by probably streams or maybe a river channel. There's probably a lake, oxbow lake, floodplain, whatever. But the point is, it's waterborne sediment that buried all this stuff. Again, we're talking about something at sea level, out on this coastal plain going out toward the Western Interior Seaway. Here. The Western Interior Seaway. That red outline rectangle there, that is Wyoming. We're in the southern part of Wyoming, right on the coast, basically. That's, that is this kind of environment we're talking about. Think about like present day Louisiana. Think about the bayou, or like the Mississippi Delta. This is the kind of environment that we're talking about here. If that makes sense. I'm trying to clip this thing onto my belt. There we go. Yeah. And yeah. Are there paleobotanists, artists? Yeah, Ms. Art Rules. There are paleo artists who kind of specialize in fossil plants. Oh man, there's a beautiful painting. Who did it? I want to say it was on the cover of Archibald's Hell Creek book. But it's just this lovely illustration of a Hell Creek environment. You've got all kinds of fossil plants, and there, almost incidentally, there's like, oh yeah, there's some Triceratops, there's a T-Rex, there's some turtles. But the plants are the star of the show in that illustration. Yeah. Doug Henderson is another artist who really tries to focus on the plants and just kind of like the feel of the ecosystem. His work is very atmospheric. He does excellent stuff. Doug Henderson. And Mexi says, so Wyoming would be a good spot for you to find specimens that were on land and underwater? Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Although a lot of the Rocky Mountain West is... I'm going to grab this flagging tape before it flies away. Shoot, we've got a lot of spots in Utah where you've got rocks from terrestrial environments, like the Cedar Mountain Formation. And then you have stuff like the Mancos. And Jim in the chat could tell you all about the Mancos. He just led a big field trip about that. Big symposium, I think it was a whole conference about, no, I guess it was a symposium at Regional GSA, Geological Society of America. Yeah, the Manco Shale, all these marine strata there. And you've got the Cedar Mountain and the Mancos right next to each other in Utah. You got a lot of places like that. Montana has places like that where you've got the Bear Paw Shale, where you've got marine strata, all of these ocean organisms, ammonites, mosasaurs, plesiosaurs, hesperornithids, and then right above that, you got the Hell Creek, or at least a little bit above that. You've got stuff in between, like the Fox Hills. Nobody cares about the Fox Hills. Yeah, that's the thing, is that as this western interior seaway throughout the late Cretaceous, sometimes the land is underwater and sometimes it's dry. So figuring out those cycles and the timing on those is really important. And a lot of geologists and paleontologists have devoted much of their careers to kind of unlocking those mysteries. And some of that was even for economic reasons, like for exploration for natural gas and petroleum. So it's not entirely academic. It's not pure, beautiful human curiosity. Sometimes it's, you know? So, yeah. Yeah. And I think that's kind of cool sometimes because it illustrates the point that, like, yeah, what we're doing out here is... It almost helps, like, validate it when it's also used for, like, oil exploration. It's like, yeah, this stuff is important, and petroleum companies paid big money to be able to figure out the geology here. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Oh, and Julianne Keeley, exactly, Zushi Cat. Yeah. Good stuff. Excellent work there. The wind almost sounds like ocean surf right now. That's a little bit of time travel there, Claire Burr. You can just picture the western interior seaway. You know, just imagine this area 73 million years ago, out there on the beach, looking out at the WIS, the western interior sea. You know, hearing the hadrosaurs honk in the distance, hearing the waves lap up on the shore. Giant Cretaceous sea turtles there, off toward the horizon out at sea. Pretty cool to set up with a beach chair and an umbrella and a pina colada. Just can't you just imagine it? Yeah. And Pete B says, I can picture the brackishness. There you go. Yeah. Where salt water meets fresh. Yeah. Hashtag paleo meditation. I like that, Miss Caprico. I like that a lot. Yeah. Starmy says, if you as a paleontologist would like to switch over to paleobotany, what do you have to do? Well, you start off by familiarizing yourself with the literature and talking to folks. Yeah. So that's the thing, is that within paleontology, within science in general, honestly, there aren't like neat dividing lines between different fields, you know, and sometimes you just kind of stumble into things. So like, I don't know, maybe you work on a field crew and you find a really cool fossil, and you're like, you know, the other people on the crew are like, do you want to work on this? You'd be like, okay. And so you dive into the lit. You start reading every single paper you can find about, a given topic. You see what other people have done. You try and learn all of it, and then maybe you start going to conferences. You talk to the specialists in that field, and slowly but surely, you become an expert. You learn everything there is to know about a particular thing. It's interesting how that works, and happenstance, maybe even fate, plays a role there. It's like you just happen to find this particular fossil on this particular day, and that changes the course of your career. That sort of thing happens a lot. And Miss Little Gem. Yeah, there isn't an actual definition for what a living fossil is. It's a loosey-goosey term. It's not a technical one. There's no particular specific criteria for that, if that makes sense. Yeah. And Starma says there's no diploma or something you have to get in order to call yourself a paleobotanist. If you're, if you're actively publishing... Grab that before it blew away. If you're actively doing work within paleobotany and publishing in that, you could call yourself a paleobotanist. It's not like there's, the queen isn't going to show up and tap you on the shoulders with a sword and say, "I dub thee paleobotanist." It doesn't work that way. It's just, if you're doing the work, then that's what you're doing. It's like Jim says. A paleontologist is what a paleontologist does. That extends to paleobotanists as well. A paleobotanist is what a paleobotanist does. If you're doing paleobotany, if you're publishing paleobotany, if you're conducting research and doing all that stuff, then you are a paleobotanist. Yeah. And I know different paleontologists who do both paleobotany and animal paleontology too. So, a friend of mine, Jamin at Berkeley, does both. So he's both a paleobotanist and he works on fossil insects. And those two often go together because some of the best records for certain groups of fossil insects is in plants. As insects are eating leaves, they leave particular kinds of bite marks on the leaves, feeding traces as we call them. And certain insects today, they always leave the same kind of feeding traces. If you're a beetle with a certain kind of jaws, you like a certain kind of plant, you eat them all the time, you leave these telltale traces. We can find those in the fossil record. And then, sometimes that's the only reason that we know that certain groups of insects go back to 100 million years ago, say, is because we have fossil plants with that same kind of bite mark in the leaf. And yep, that's this kind of beetle, that kind of thing. Yeah. And Jim says generally you will have degrees and do graduate studies. Yes, this is true too. Yeah. Of course. And Starma says, are there some other paleo fields outside of your own that you're interested in that you would see yourself publishing in? So most, if not all of my work so far has been on dinosaurs, but I could see myself getting into marine reptiles. It'd be pretty neat. Oh, who is it, Edie?
Just Derry. You know him. Who is that weird guy that's been here a billion times?
Be nice.
Oh. I don't know. I could totally see myself working on plesiosaurs or mosasaurs or sea turtles. Maybe dermachelids. I think a lot of you here are aware of my newfound obsession with leatherback sea turtles. Their fossil record's awful spotty, but there's material out there waiting to be described, for sure. Anyhow. Yeah.
Hey everyone, this spoils pile, do not put anything in it anymore. Okay?
That's full?
Use the other one.
Okay.
Now, we're using it as a sandbox.
Cool. All right. Yeah. And Mythic Mexican, yes indeed. Turkeys, chickens, they're both dinosaurs. Yeah. If you're the sort of person who eats birds, which many people do, I guess, then yeah, those are dinosaurs. So the next time you're eating a chicken or a Cornish hen or an ostrich or a hummingbird or an albatross, I hear those are good luck. That's a dinosaur. Yeah. Good stuff. Anyhow, any soft-shelled turtle fossils found on this site yet? There's a good chance that the turtle fossils we have here are trionychids, soft-shelled turtles. Some of the texture that I saw earlier on some of that turtle shell looked a lot like trionychid. I'm not a turtle expert, but yeah, I don't know. If somebody told me that was a trionychid, I'd believe them. That's a soft-shelled turtle. And Little Miss Gem. When I was younger, I was told Stegosaurus had multiple brains in the body. Is that theory still a thing? No. So that idea, it wasn't ever well supported, but it's such a fun idea that you see it in a lot of popular books and stuff, especially from like the middle part of the 20th century. There's this idea that Stegosaurus, its brain and its skull was so small, and it's such a big animal, you know, it must have had a second brain somewhere in its body to help control the back half of the animal. And there is like kind of an enlargement around the hips near the spinal cord. It's like, oh, maybe that's its second brain, but there's not really any evidence to support this idea at all. Yeah. I don't know, Stegosaurs, one thing that you don't hear enough is just like efficiency in brain size. Like there's a lot of birds that are very, very intelligent and they're doing a lot with their brains, but their brains are pretty small. Birds tend to have more concentrated brains, more efficient brains than mammals in general, and that's probably something they inherited from dinosaurs. So yeah. That being said though, Stegosaurus probably not the brainiest animal around, but they were very successful. Stegosaurs lived all over the world. We've got stegosaur fossils from North America, from Asia, from Europe, from potentially Australia. There's rumors of stegosaurs from Antarctica, but I don't know if that holds any water yet. We might even have stegosaur material from South America, but I think that's disputed, and we've got stegosaurs from Africa too. So we've got stegosaurs from nearly every continent, from the Middle Jurassic up through the early Cretaceous, I guess. They do kind of disappear after that, but yeah, they're around for a good while. Certainly around for a lot longer than we humans have been. So, you know, the next time you think of making fun of a Stegosaurus, just remember how much longer they existed on our planet, Stegosaurs in general, than our own group, you know, the hominids. Yeah. But it was brainy enough for their life. Absolutely, Charlie's Dragon. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, stegosaurs were brainy enough for what they were doing, you know? Gotta have the right tool for the job, and they seem to have had that. They were doing just fine with the brains they had. Yeah. Every book mentioned the stego's butt brain. There you go, double nickel, yeah. Yeah. Anywho. But yeah. Game Over says only matters who's left, not who lived here longest. Not necessarily, no. Shoot, I mean, because you could say that as an organism, as a clade that's brand new, and like, oh man, we're here right now. Never mind those critters that have been around for 500 million years. Like, I think that's maybe the wrong idea, you know? Yeah. And again, it's often just due to sheer luck that certain groups survive and others don't. very often it's not survival of the fittest, it's survival of the luckiest in many cases. Think about us mammals, you know? So mammals evolved not too long after the first dinosaurs did, back in the Triassic period, we think. And yeah, during the entire age of the dinosaurs, there was not a mammal larger than, like, I don't know, a dachshund for the entire age of the dinosaurs. And then as soon as dinosaurs go extinct, except for birds, suddenly mammals start getting big. For whatever reason, dinosaurs kept them down. Dinosaurs outcompeted mammals in large body terrestrial niches. Dinosaurs dominated mammals, you could say. And it was only because of that asteroid 66 million years ago that the tables turned. Wasn't anything particularly good about mammals. It was just they happened to be small and insignificant, and a few of them managed to just barely squeak through that extinction event. There's a paper, hopefully, that will be published pretty soon, that talks about survival rates at the KPG boundary, and it's something like 90% of all mammal species also died out at the KPG when the asteroid hit. And it was only like particularly small mammals with, you know, a couple of lucky characteristics, they managed to squeak through. Everything big and important died out. Does that make sense? Yeah. As he said, luck, says Arzanos. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Anywho. But yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Shoot, it's 5:30 right now. This is a lot later than we normally stream. But that's okay, we started an hour late, or 30 minutes late? Something like that. Yeah. Anyhow. Oh, and Ash Odin says, what would you personally consider the most perplexing extinction event in the fossil record? Ooh. That's a good question. I could try and come up with, like, the extinction of a particular clade, like a group of organisms, but instead I'm going to broaden it out and I'll make it like a big mass casualty event where a bunch of species go extinct. And you know what? I'm going to say the Jurassic Cretaceous extinction. The end Jurassic extinction event that kind of does away with the Morrison fauna and ushers in the Cedar Mountain Formation fauna. We'll talk about that more this summer, especially if Jim is out in the field with us. But yeah, I think now that some of his stuff has been presented at some conferences, I think we can be a little bit less cagey about that. But Jim has got some very interesting ideas for what may have happened at that time. Yeah, this is an extinction event that we're just kind of like now recognizing happened. Before, we thought there was a big missing chunk of time, and maybe it was just a gradual thing, you know, gradual replacement over time. But no, now that a lot of work has been done in the Cedar Mountain Formation and the timeline is kind of become clearer, it seems to have been pretty abrupt, this extinction of turnover hitting South Africa. Well, we'll talk about that another time. Yeah. Anywho. And there you go, Ash showed exactly, because sometimes it's hard to tell what's an actual extinction, what was just missing fossil record. Bingo. Yeah. Anywho. Let's walk around and check in over here. See what else is going on. Let's see. How goes it, Luke?
It's going.
Nice.
Just slowly trimming off this stuff.
Yep. It's nice the rock's soft enough you can paintbrush.
doing that.
Yeah.
Little pop brush.
Right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
Right.
start by kind of
Ethan's gonna be wrapping those turtle pieces. Anything new over here? No, not yet. Yeah. Well, it's about time to wrap up pretty soon anyway, I bet. So you don't want to find anything too exciting at the end of the day.
No.
Yeah. That's often when it happens. So. Yeah.
Just hold this loose.
Well, I didn't know you worked there.
Paper towels from
That's pretty cool, Spencer. Wow. I think I heard of that place.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's in it's in northern Utah, right?
Yeah.
No, wait, no, that's Dinosaur National Monument. Never mind.
But also kind of, it's not too tight. Right. But it's
Anyway, cool stuff. Yeah.
Universal should pay me.
They really should, yeah. They might, you know. He's gonna be working with Steve Brusati. That's
Someday, maybe. Yeah.
yeah. When it's Jurassic World or Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Jurassic Solar System.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Then I'll just do my little alien crossover.
There you go. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I think a lot of people in chat would watch that for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
I listened to the audio, but.
All right. It's weird seeing the sticker inside of the scoop right there. This is like brand new yesterday. Like it's not going to look like that for long. Shoot.
No.
Covering the.
The brands. Not until they sponsor.
Yes.
Only Pro Tool. Handy Scoop Junior.
I wish they had bigger ones at the store, but those are the biggest ones they had.
I wonder if they have Handy Scoop Senior. And it's
Yeah.
like this
Handy
big.
Scoop Emeritus.
Oh, hey, there's one right next to me. Sorry. I didn't see it.
We've got some rapping going on. Who knew Ethan was so good at rapping?
Stay.
Nice.
Okay, get a sandwich size bag.
All these like broke creative.
Ash Odinson says, I mean, what if one of the extinctions was actually an exodus to another planet? There's a book about that, actually. It's called What Happened to Patrick's Dinosaurs. You remember that book?
I had the VHS for it too.
Oh, they had a VHS?
Yeah, and then because there was a first one before that where he was afraid of dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah. I only ever had the second book.
I only had the second book, but I had the VHS for the first and the second one.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, so the premise of that is there's two brothers, and the younger brother really likes dinosaurs, and he's like lecturing his older brother on the dinosaurs, and he's like, no, silly, they didn't go extinct. They just left. They got on a big spaceship, and they went up to the stars. It's pretty cute. Yeah, the illustrations are they're certainly distinctive and fun. Memorable. Yeah. Dmitry Kuprianov, thank you so much, Dmitry, for the raid. How are you doing? Welcome to Paleontologizing. We're here digging up a dinosaur live on stream. We've got a new species of armored dinosaur. At least that's what everything indicates so far, and we're pretty excited about that. So thanks for joining us. I hope you had a great stream yourself. Thanks for bringing everybody in here. Let me know if you've got any questions. Yeah. And Dimitri says, hello from Toronto. This is the only dinosaur we have here. That is a dinosaur. Branta canadensis, the goose. Yes. But that's not the only dinosaur you have in Toronto. Absolutely not. You've got the ROM right there. The Royal Ontario Museum, which is one of the world's greatest fossil museums, right there in Toronto. Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. I've got some friends who went to school there. It's renowned, you could say. Yeah, whoop. And Rivers Vegan says, hello, is this a new site, or have you all been digging here before? We just opened this site up officially this year. We got our permits through the Bureau of Land Management. So we could go ahead and excavate a large area. But this site was discovered a number of years ago, and we're only now, you know, really opening it up and digging here in earnest. So yeah, hope that makes sense. And Penny Potato says, when did you first find evidence that there was a dinosaur here? So our expedition lead is a guy in the kind of brownish yellow baseball cap there. That's Ethan Cowgill. His brother was out here with him a number of years ago, just kind of tagging along, and he told him to go out and prospect for new dinosaurs. So Ethan's brother Josh ended up finding this site. There were just a few bits of bone that were kind of sticking out of the hillside here. And yeah, they took a GPS reading and logged the site. And then I think Ethan may have come by here a few years after that to sort of do a little bit of poking around, and holy cow, there's bone everywhere. Followed it in, and we've got an ankylosaur, an armored dinosaur. One that would look something like, something like this. Yeah. This is a nodosaurid ankylosaur. I think this one might be Edmontonia. Lovely skeletal drawing by Scott Hartman, skeletaldrawing.com. Yeah, and it seems that this is probably another nodosaur here, just like that one. But ours, we have every indication, should be a new species, so we're pretty excited about that. Yeah, hope that makes sense. But yeah, Penny Potato says this is so cool. Thank you, appreciate that. Says, did Ethan and his brother also find the other sites you guys are digging? No, we had some other members of our crew last year. The Purple Puzzle site, I think it was Logan who found that one. I think Logan will be joining us again this year, and he's very good at finding new sites. So we're going to have our work cut out for us. He's going to find us some other new dinosaurs out here. And yeah. I kind of wish I had more time to be able to go out and actually prospect, but I'm trying to stream every single day this year, and so that's a solid like 3 or 4 hours out of the afternoon each day. And so I'm not really getting a lot of prospecting time. So I hope everybody at home realizes the sacrifice I am making. I don't mean it like that, but yeah, I could be finding new dinosaurs out here, but I have the opportunity to share this with all of you, and that's the reason why I'm here, really. This is what I do for a living, is streaming on Twitch, streaming fossil science, and I'm tremendously lucky to be able to do that. Even if it means I don't get to go out and prospect and find new sites. I found some cool ones years ago, but that's not really my role here. Yeah. And Rachel Darling Endeavor says, Danny, I hope you're having a lovely day. I am. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your kind words. As usual, Rachel Darling Endeavors. I appreciate you. Yeah. Suavorio says, take us prospecting. I can't really do that because prospecting involves walking all over hither and yon, walking miles and miles in a day, and I need to be within 100 feet of that satellite dish at all times during a stream. And so it just wouldn't work. You see the bind that I'm in, right? Yeah. Yeah. Anywho. Yeah, I can't backpack the satellite, unfortunately, Casey. By the way, Casey Snowart, I hope you're having a great day. How close are you to being able to apply for partner, Casey? I'm guessing it's pretty close. Yeah. Oh, and we're looks back up here. Are we beginning our packing up procedure? Or are they just covering that?
Some people are leaving, yeah. Where's the car?
Okay.
Where's the car up here?
Car's under this. Should I leave that? Cover that.
which way was it? You know, like
Yeah.
upward side. Yeah. That facing up. Yeah. Because it might be breaking it. You know,
And
sorry, I'm still right.
Mizart Rule says maybe later someone can find this and turn it into a documentary series. That would be pretty neat. That would be pretty neat. These VODs are going up on YouTube afterward, so we should have a pretty good record of the summer's events. So yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Anywho. Scaveri says drag the Starlink behind you in a cart like bikers do. This kind of terrain is not conducive to that. I'm going to be clambering over cliffs and down gullies and arroyos, and just it would not work. I'm sorry. Prospecting streams not really feasible here unless I were to get my if I had my cellular modems. We could do prospecting streams potentially, but that's the thing, is that I would have to, it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. Prospecting requires intense concentration to be able to find things, and I can't do, it would be a silent stream from me. Like, I wouldn't be able to monitor chat at all whatsoever, basically. It's just, it wouldn't work. Yeah. Anywho. Do it again in a 30-day block, probably pushing through June. Appreciate all the support. That's great, Casey. Excellent. Casey's nowhere. Yeah. Anywho. Yeah. With that said, though, it's about time to wrap things up here. We're gonna we're already starting to pack away some of our gear, and I want to be able to help with that. So, I've been streaming for 3 hours, 5 minutes. That's pretty decent for a fieldwork stream. Stay with me, and we will find somebody to raid into here on our Friday afternoon. I wonder if we should be so lucky to see Science streams on right now. Let's see. Not yet, looks like. Well, let's go ahead and raid into oh boy, here comes the wind too. It's gonna get worse. I don't think we can raid into Bob Ross. Let's go see what's up with Joyce Lee Music. I've met Joyce before on multiple occasions. She is super, super cool. Joyce Lee Music. I gotta remember that username. There we go. That's an E, right? Not Leo. Joyce Lee Music. Raid has been created. Excellent. Well, everybody, thank you for everything today. Your viewership, your questions, your enthusiasm, your kind words, your curiosity. Thank you for the financial support that makes these streams possible. Readers, thank you for coming in. Followers, thanks for clicking that follow button. Thank you to the keep this community safe and welcoming for everybody. I appreciate you more than you know. This is the right time to wrap up. The wind is just gonna keep getting worse. With any luck, I'll be streaming again tomorrow from this site or maybe a different one. We'll have to see. Tune in to find out here on Paleontologizing, and let's go check out what Joyce Lee Music is up to. I'll see you later, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.